Oh, am I alive yet? No clue. Oh, the fuck me. Yep. Anyways, dude, it's late as fuck, man. But it is what it is. I I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Okay, I've been aware of this stuff going on for quite a bit. Yeah. Ace, I'm live. Yeah, well, yeah, I clicked the go live button. Yeah, I would know. So, I'm gonna have like a little bit of a serious discussion, okay? Just to be very clear, no, I don't hate Chuuli, okay? To be very clear, I don't hate her. I don't like want her to do anything crazy, right? Julie and I had this understanding, right, that we've been intertwined for the past couple months, right? I'm sure you guys are aware. We've done a lot of SEC coverage since January ish, whether it was the Liquid Ooze stuff or the RCV case or the Morgan stuff. We've done a lot of work together. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like when she fucks up, I mean, lots of people have come to me, right? Lots of people have notified me, and I don't want to look like I'm avoiding it, right? Because to be very blunt, right, if someone that I wasn't friends with was doing things that Chili was doing, I would obviously call it out too. When I was I'm still friends with Chili, right? But Chili and I have had talks before, right? Where if one of us fucks up, and I expect her to do the same for me, that it is fully fair to publicly call out. Everything I'm going to say about Chuuli tonight, I've already said to her face. I've had multiple conversations with her. Okay? I've had multiple talks, multiple types of a lot of times that we've chatted about this. Right? Yeah, no sweeping. No, exactly. So that's why this is a little tedious. Because I don't know, man. It's it's annoying cuz if she just I told her what she needed to do, and if she wasn't just so stubborn about it, right? Because you could have a bad take, right? And we're going to be getting into that. You could have a bad take or a poorly worded stance or whatever, right? And it's very blunt. Like, it's very easy to essentially be like, hey, I was in a live setting. I was speaking from emotion, right? And yeah, I kind of fucked up. Sorry, my bad. I'm too emotionally invested in this. I should not be making takes like this. I was just in the moment. It all happens, right? God knows I've had um some emotional moments on the channel when it comes to associates. God knows that I've definitely crashed out at points. But you got to just like recognize that yeah, I crashed out. I was too invested, and that's an L on my part. Right? That's all she really personally, from my understanding, that she had to say. So I am going to go through this stuff, right? And again, this is not like I'm pulling anything under the rug. Like I said, everything I'm going to say publicly, I have said to Chuli's face repeatedly. Not just once, but repeatedly. And the Slug interview, right? I've seen some parts when Falgi went live about it. And there's some parts that just don't really sit right with me. Okay, there's some parts that I feel like that, whether it's intentional or not, I feel like she mischaracterized. Right? Or that she just did not properly represent. So I do want to talk about that. All right. Oh no, it's gonna be scuffed, ain't it? It's gonna be one of those nights. Ugh. But it's a little tedious because I don't know. Again, I don't hate Julie. I think it's also just very clear that her and I have very different approaches when it comes to things. And that's not a dig at her. She just has her own way of doing things, and we've talked about this a lot too. I like to have a lot more productive conversations, generally speaking. There are times that I admit I like to make people crash out. I like to make people spurg. It's funny, right? But if I'm handling something where I want answers for, I will take a more cool, calm, collected approach. And you can't have that in an environment where you're berating them, right? And the worst part when it comes to berating someone is sometimes you could berate the wrong person. And I feel like an example of that was with Saf. Now, the RCV stuff, to give a brief recap, this was a thing that we went over on stream on Chuuli's channel a couple weeks ago. And RCV was a case where I still think it is a false accusation, right? It was a case where some people like Habit and Ephraim and all these other people were pushing a 2-year age gap to call this guy a predator, right? And the debate part, where we're about to go over, right, where we're about to look at, right, is there was a point where it was up for debate whether or not the guy was actually into lolicon or not. Now, this was tricky because Habit claims to have deleted all their evidence because they were so traumatized about seeing it. And RCV just doesn't have access to their accounts, so none of them have access to their Twitter accounts. RCV denies it, and Habit has shown patterns of being a malicious actor. So I take that with a huge grain of salt, but the claim was that Habit went on Twitter and said all lolicons are pedophiles. And then supposedly RCV saw that and went into their DMs being like, what the fuck? Do you really think all lolicons are pedophiles? I was into that when I was younger. Now, whether this actually happened or not sure. There is no evidence to support it. There is literally nothing to support that claim. Absolutely nada. So, huge grain of salt. RCV denies it, and the person accusing it is a false accuser, right? And has shown patterns of being, patterns of malice, if you will. So, that's all fine and well. However, the angle I think Chuuli goes at Saf, because I did talk about this before. I do genuinely think Saf was just someone who was defending their partner. Are there criticisms to have? 100%. Absolutely. Right? There is absolutely criticisms to have for Saf. Do I think that they deserve the same treatment that the actual predator hunters and the other people who have pushed life-ruining allegations? Not really, because with Saf, they reposted their partner's Twitter. Okay, yeah, of course, if a partner comes to you logically speaking, if a partner comes to you saying, hey, this is how I was harmed, you're going to be inclined to believe it. The only thing of criticism I would have for it is publicly speaking on it, right? If you're going to publicly speak on something, you should review the evidence. That is just a basic standard in this space that we have, right? But I don't care if they were going to privately support them for this, because they're partners. That's just realistically that's just realistically what's going to happen. Now, the other critique I would have for Saf is that they do the believe all victims mentality, which it's really, I've explained on the stream that that's really just doing believe all accusers. And if you believe the accuser, you could technically be victimizing someone else because you supported a false accuser. So you needed to have full evidence of both sides before coming to a conclusion. Now, if Saf has believed a person without reviewing the evidence and publicly pushed something that was false, that is where the critique would lie. But I can't stress enough that when Saf talked about things, it was protecting a partner or being biased to friends. I don't really think I could apply or attribute malice to Saf, which is why I did give them a little bit of a break when we went over the stuff. But yeah, it really just was, yeah, like, Saf didn't do much. She ghosted Obazi. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? That's actually an important thing to highlight, too. Isn't it interesting that when Habit's making claims and someone wants to ask Habit questions, the natural reaction is Saf steps in for their partner? Again, it just highlights that they were defending a partner and doing it under the context of a Pookie crusade. Are there criticisms to be had with that mentality? Sure. You could say that is... Yeah, that you could say it's dumb, but I'm not going to pretend like I don't understand where that mentality derives from. Right? And I'm not going to pretend that Saf had any form of malice attributed to their actions. So, I feel like when we were going into it, right, since we were just off of David Grimm, right, who has objectively just done really fucking stupid stuff, right, I feel like that there was still maybe a little bit of freshness from that, and it's the reason why maybe she was still freshly heated from that and wanted another kill. I mean, I'm pretty sure she quite literally says before going into the Saf interview, let's kill her as well. I know it's a joke, but she still had the energy. She was out for blood, is essentially what I'm highlighting. And I think the problem with being out for blood for someone like Saf is I don't think that they were a target that deserved it. They didn't deserve that type of like beratement or something like that, because logically they didn't come from malice. If anything, they should just have a slap on the wrist and go on. So that would be my thing. So yeah, though Habit and Ty were both malicious, they deserve the hate. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't funny for Habit to be mocked, right? Because they're a false accuser. Was there a more professional way to go about that? Sure, I could give you that 100%. But at the same time, I also don't feel bad specifically with Habit because they were just objectively a false accuser. But yeah, Chuuli appears to be quite impulsive at times, to be honest, so that makes sense. Yeah, I think, so Chuuli, this is my issue, which is why I don't like to lead, right? We've had disagreements about this. I don't like to lead emotionally charged with things because it increases the chances of you doing reckless actions. It increases the chances of you fucking up cases. It increases the chances of you doing things that you will regret later. And I've never hated her for that. It's just very different from how I would go about something. Very different than how I would prefer to handle something. And yeah, it's a bit unfortunate because I don't dislike her. I just understand that we are very different when it comes to how we handle, difference in case advocacy, if you will, right? As a simple way to put it. And yeah, she has good intentions, but her actions were not good. Yeah, so this is the good intentions, bad impact argument, right? And it's unfortunate because I think when it came to these cases, I think it's 100% good intentions, bad impact, because that would connect with the argument of her being too emotionally invested in this. She thinks that she is doing this out of the good of the world or whatever, right? I could probably see that because she's going to people who has pushed life ruination allegations, right? And wants to berate them because, pushing life-ruining narratives against someone to run them off the internet and to, with Liquid, right? They were ran off the internet and doxxed to oblivion and people threatened to go to their house over a 2-year age gap. And RCV, 2-year age gap, ran off the internet, false accusations, and the only reason why he didn't get doxxed is because Habit pulled out last second. But they were bragging, Ephraim and Fractured Light, all these people were bragging about having this guy's, full legal name from Facebook, being like, oh, look what I found. And then Fractured Light goes, oh, what a moron. Again, innocent people, right? Innocent people being falsely pushed out of the community. And I think we can all agree as a whole, right, that is obviously objectively wrong. That is objectively bad. But there is a way to go about it. There is a way to handle it, right? That would be the natural thing to follow up with that. There are ways to handle these things. Because what you don't want to do is to give a piece of shit person a way out. You don't want to give them sympathy. You don't want to go so hard on them that people, instead of going like, yeah, this person fucking sucks because they pushed life ruination allegations, what you don't want a person to go, well, aren't you being a little too mean to them? Aren't you being a little too harsh? Aren't you going a little extreme? You don't want to give them that out. Because frankly, they don't fucking deserve it. But it's very easy to do when you meet them in an unhinged way. And it just actually makes people roll their eyes. And some people, out of spite, might just feel like defending the person just because of how you're approaching it. So, yeah. I definitely got to talk about this because you guys have probably realized that she's not been on a few of my streams. We've been very closely knit, and I recognize that. So, it makes sense why it gets brought up to me. 100%. And I'm not blaming anyone for bringing it up to me. I 100% understand that. But, yeah, I feel like it's just best if I talk about this publicly rather than have to repeatedly explain it in private multiple times or hop on multiple streams to give context to things and all this stuff. So, the easiest way, right, is just to go over this. Thank you, Gaysby, for the 2 for ACES Therapy Fund. Insane. But yeah, let's get into it. So, the first thing comes from a tweet from Amos. Now, this is the clip that ended up circulating like wildfire. Yeah. And fuck me, right? This is the thing that gets brought up to most. So, for full transparency, we're going to watch the clip and I'll just give my honest thoughts. So, let's go through it.
Especially if a minor has gone through sexual abuse, they can internalize a lot of stuff and participate in sexually destructive behaviors.
Of course I do. And I should have applied that logic to the situation as well, not just apply it solely to hack.
There's a very infamous case of a child, a teenager, who made a comic involving an adult man and a little girl that was not, the comic didn't involve anything predatory.
Sure.
And then people found out behind the scenes that the girl had been drawing, rape art of the adult male character and the little girl. And then they later also found out that the girl had made allusions in private to being sexually assaulted and molested. So I could understand someone growing up and then, feeling personally slighted from someone coming.
So this is the first problem. She takes a very, very hyper-specific case and kind of use it to blanket statement the logic of argumentation that she's going to make now. Now, yeah, it's fucking horrible what happened to that little girl, right? I don't think I've seen anyone dispute that. That doesn't really have much relevance to this. And the thing that also kind of bothers me about this is we are moving off of complete hypotheticals at this point. Like I've explained, RCV even doing it was speculation because it was the confirmed false accuser that was making the claim and there was no evidence. So there was 100% of reason to take it with skepticism and speculation and a grain of salt. But engaging in it further, I personally, I would not entertain that. There's just no reason to, personally. If the guy denies it and the other person says that it happened, there's not much you could really do there. There's no evidence to say that it happened. All I'm concerned, I'm kind of leaning on just it didn't happen because there's just no evidence to support it. Here's money for the Anne Ravencoat Chili Fund thing. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the 5, Mike Dono, and sorry, mate, for the friends and stuff. I mean, it happens. What can you do, right? This type of stuff, I think, is it's gonna happen, right? Where a friend fucks up, right? And if I'm wanting to be consistent, I have to talk about it, right? This is already an understanding. This is already a thing that we've talked about. Again, this is not like I'm blindsiding them. They fully understood this logic, right? And I would expect the same way around, right? I fucked up. I understand how that goes. I get it. I've had people go over me before. It's a thing that happens, right? Now, granted, this is not something that I take joy in doing, but I'm going to give my raw thoughts and try to keep any biases I may have at Chuuli to the side, because this I just need to talk about. Right? I feel like I just need to talk about it at this point. So, yeah. Anyways.
On to Twitter and saying, if you ever, if you liked rape art, you must be like a rape apologist and you must love rape. Because they can say, actually, no, I used to like that stuff because I was participating in destructive.
Stream title should be Gilded Was Right. Gilded, shut the fuck up, dude. That's all you men care about. I was right. Pipe down, buddy. Pipe down.
Behaviors when I was a child based on, my own victimization. And the fact that was not, that I find it very criticizable that you immediately went to, this person must be, predatory. Instead of this guy maybe saying, hey, maybe have, some more sympathy for, the people who were groomed into this shit when they...
So, yeah. This is an unrealistic standard. No one is going to see someone that's into a creepy fetish or a creepy thing at all, right? And have their first thought be, were they maybe coerced or groomed into this? That's not the average take. And to apply this standard onto something that's already hypothetical of whether it even happened or not is just not a move I would do. It's just fucking insane. Thank you, Red, for the 2. Gilded was right. Insane. Can you turn up the clip a little? Yeah, my fault. Here we go.
Were younger, because the same thing happens with a lot of paraphilias, including zoophilia. A lot of people who end up, getting into that shit were groomed into it as minors.
Yeah.
And that doesn't excuse, actual abuse that happens. But, if someone breaks free of that and then is told, well, if you ever were interested in this, then you must be like a fucking degen.
Did Chuuli ever explain herself about this clip? It feels so out of character for her to say this. If my understanding is correct, I think that there was a hint of projection. I'm not saying that she's into anything weird, but when it comes to points where it's multiple people were people are surrounded by this type of thing, I think she's speaking from personal experience without intending to. So she's applying a standard that is a very niche example from her own personal anecdotal experience. If I had to take a gander, I believe that's what I've heard, but if she wants to correct that, she's fully free to.
I'm being like, no, I was just a fucking victim. And that's so upsetting that, that never crossed your mind, and instead you went to the worst possible interpretation based on that, and then ran with it.
Is that as common, though, Chuuli? Just to ask for clarification.
Dude,
would the victim drawing
me.
it for what's it called? Therapeutic reasons, I guess? Is that as common as the alternative?
What do you mean?
Well, obviously, when someone has an interest in lolicon, would it be more often due to the fact because they were groomed into it, or because that they have their own interest into it because of how they were wired?
It can be either or, honestly.
No, it can't be either or. Now, this is... I really despise the therapeutic porn argument, because all it serves is a purpose to get a scale of severity or understanding why maybe something happened, right? Maybe not even as much a scale of severity if I think about it. It's more or less just well, this pedophile, right, was just naturally like this, but this one was groomed into something. And it's that's why they're into this one. And it's it doesn't change the fact that if they carry out that attraction to adulthood, right, they're still going to take the backlash that people would rightfully give them for being into that freak shit, right? That's just naturally how it goes. Again, no one's looking at people like Flamenco TV and be like, oh, you read, well, fuck me, what the fuck was that book? That Shotokan book at 24? Were you groomed into this when you were a kid? Yeah, Boy Soprano. Were you groomed into reading Boy Soprano? No one's doing that. Alright? No one's gonna do that. Rev says, Desu, were you groomed into defending Lolicon? No one's doing that. No one's doing that. The problem with therapeutic porn is like therapeutic meth. Feeding them their addiction doesn't fix them. No, exactly. Exactly. That's a thing, right? If anything, it's more or less subduing them. It's like, well, which I don't even like this line of logic, but I don't believe that this happens with therapists, but it's like, here, let me give you lolicon so you don't fuck a real kid. I don't believe that that's a real thing that happens, but whatever. But it's like, that doesn't fix the attraction, doesn't make it go away. Unironically, you might have more luck with just castrating yourself at that point if you really want to quote-unquote cure it, but that doesn't really cure anything. It's whatever. It's dumb. You can't fix it. It's just fucking stupid. Ugh. Fuck me. Did someone touch my nose? Yeah, food shops, dude. Fuck me. Getting lolicon for POCD? Fuck me. I don't believe that that's real. I don't believe that they actually had that happen. I just think they're a freak. And no, I might be a little sick. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah.
It can be either or. You can, want to project yourself into that situation to take power back from a situation where you were victimized, or you could have been lured into thinking it was okay by an adult when you were younger. And, because the fucking narratives of it's just art were rampant back in the 2010s. There were, pedophiles and everything trying to excuse, that art and, that content and saying, no, it's okay to like this. It's actually biologically normal that you like this because you should be attracted to youthful features because that means higher fertility. It went fucking crazy. I have no doubt in my mind that there were so many tweens and teens who got groomed into that shit.
I don't really think it's that high of a scale, to be honest. That would be a thing I would disagree with, too. I understand why she's making that take, because, look, I do sympathize, right? I do sympathize. I think Chuuli had a very fucked up upbringing in this community. I've seen things in Fiendish Cavern, and there was a whole bunch of fucking degenerate creeps that were normalizing the worst things imaginable, right? However, moments like this is where I would think that this comes from a little bit of a projection standpoint, that she thinks that this is a highly common thing because it's a personal experience. And that's not necessarily her fault, but this would be one of those moments where it's like, okay, I think that you're too attached to this, and maybe a step back from this type of conversation would be the best for you. Because this is bleak, right? Because, again, if you remember the context of this clip, this is a standard she is pressing on Saf for something completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. So, it's a little bleak.
I mean, I guess to be a little understanding to both sides, like I'm not saying that that's not a thing that doesn't happen, but usually with the lolicon topic, it is usually like the caricature that you would imagine if that person is a creep. So I can understand why that would be like the first jumping to thing.
When you're younger, yes. When did this happen, Safi?
I don't know when the conversation between the two happened. I do know that I was having it told me about it in summer of 2019.
And you were how old during that time?
I was 19.
19?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the disgust at the idea of that, but the allegations happened in 2023?
Yes. That's when they were made public, yes.
You were mid-20s by that point, right? Or early 20s? When would you have been?
23.
You were 23? You were born in 2000?
Yeah. Yes, March 5th, 2000.
Okay, by that age, you should have been aware of the bigger picture.
Another problem I took with this. by that age, you should have been aware of the bigger picture. I, again, don't think 23-year-olds are naturally going to be like... I don't care if you're 23. No one is on average thinking, oh, well, I think we gotta consider if this person was groomed into this first. No, that's not happening. That's a thing that just doesn't happen on an average scale of things. In fact, even the concept of the therapeutic art, type of argument that happens is so fucking niche in ACC, SCC. If I say that term to a mainline person, actually, I'm going to do Beckett dirty here. When I asked Beckett, do you know what therapeutic porn is? Right? He responded to me, is it like jacking off to something and feeling zen? And I said, no. That is fucking not what it is. Now, why did I highlight that? Well, people that would be a bit more mainline or less, involved into these ACC niche rabbit holes of things are not going to know what therapeutic porn is. Okay? They're not really going to even know what it is because it's a thing that's kind of pointless to consider in an argument. It's maybe if you really want to know how something happened, sure, maybe. But it's kind of pointless in the grand scheme of things to consider this into a case. We're not going to look at pedophiles and have one of our leading questions be, were you groomed into being a pedophile? That's just not what happens. All right? That's just genuinely not what happens. But yeah. It was a matter of time and she was going to make the argument because she honestly thinks this. Yeah. I don't think it's just an L take anymore. It is a lot of projection, I would say. I think there's a handful of good projection. Yeah. But, fuck me. We'll keep it going.
That is not the only story that can be told from that interaction.
I would say that's a huge it depends personally, Chuuli. Genuinely. I can understand where you're coming from, Chuuli. But I don't think that the average, especially young adult, is thinking that if someone posts lolicon or defends lolicon, it's because they were grouped into it.
When they were a minor?
I don't think that is the common interpretation that people go into with that. I know that's a thing that happens.
I think that those people are dumb, personally, because if you
I think that's the average, to be honest.
I think that then the average is stupid in that.
See, this is just doubling down. This is doubling down. I will admit, right, I think a point of critique I will have happily applied to myself here, right? Because I did push back, sure. But I will say, if I heard this argument from someone that wasn't a friend, I do admit I probably would have gone harder on them. Admittedly, I saw that Chuuli was walking into a landmine and tried to subtly tell her that, this is an insane take. I tried to essentially kind of hold her hand to get out of that, and she just doubles down. And when she doubles down, there's not really much I can do to change her mind on it, because she clearly has it very made up. And yeah, I don't know. It's a bit bleak, to say the least. It's pretty bleak. But yeah. Ugh, thank you for the 5. When a guy mugs me, I consider everything in his life what that led him to the moment he pulled the gun on me because I'm a good person and you evil. Insane. Insane, Gilded. But yeah. And fuck me. Yeah, no. I don't know. It's very clear that, again, the reason why she's stubborn here is because this is just her own personal worldview. And yeah, I don't know. It's a bit bleak. It's a bit bleak.
That case where you only have one interpretation of that, and you have, no desire to confirm anything about the minor that was.
Sure, yeah, maybe the question could have been, well, were you coerced into this type of content to RCV? I don't expect Habit to ask that, since they were obviously the younger party of the two. And maybe if other people wanted to ask, maybe out of their own volition, maybe. But I do think that the average would just be uninformed. I don't know if I would agree with pressing that standard onto someone that they should have known by because they were 23. personally.
Hold on. What does she say? Hold on. Sorry, this might be a little annoying. Can I slow down the clip? I feel like she said something, but I don't want to accuse her of saying something if she didn't say it.
Agree with pressing that standard onto someone that they should have known by because they were 23. Personally.
I mean, I knew. I think that is just kind of like the smoking gun to prove that is a personal world viewpoint that, I mean, I knew. Yeah. I don't think it could be more clear-cut than that. She was speaking from pure emotion here, from her own pure personal experiences. It's why she was so stubborn. Thank you for the 5, Toa. Like, if it's a child who is into the kind of thing, yeah, I'll question it, but it's not if it's an adult. Yeah. No, she is stubborn here because she doesn't want to be mocked on her own stream and admit she's wrong. Well, yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the 5, Chuuli Schumer. Thanks, Amos. Would see a pedophile act on their urges and think they were groomed. Yeah, probably, maybe. Probably. That's how this take comes off. That's how this take does come off. But yeah. And fuck me. Now, it's a triple down. I think it comes to a lack of articulation. Yeah, because, I mean, not a lot of people really like to take the L. I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun to be in the hot seat. It's not fun to take the L. I can understand why someone would not want to, but it's just sometimes a thing you kind of need to do if you're going to be in the space. Because if you fuck up, you got to own the fuck up. That's just how this works, right? That's just how this works. You need to be able to own up when you're wrong. Because if you can't, you just look like a stubborn person that wants the world to work your way. You want the world to work through your lens. And frankly, the world doesn't revolve around you, right? That's why people find stubborn people very annoying. Because the world doesn't revolve around one individual. All right, the world contains several individuals, several billions of individuals. So, obviously, it's going to be annoying if someone's pressing standards onto someone off of their own personal experiences like it's the average, everyday, normal stance. That's just unrealistic to do. It's really unrealistic. But yeah. Ugh. I don't understand why she quadrupled down on the L. Because I just don't think she wants to say the words, I was wrong. Especially on her own platform. Because it could be embarrassing to people, to be honest. That's probably why. I don't think she wanted to be embarrassed on her own platform. Now, that's not to say that if she did this on my platform, that she would not be just as stubborn. She probably would. I don't think that she wants to be corrected. Because here's the thing, right? Right now, Safi is the one being questioned. Right? Safi is the one on the quote-unquote hot seat here. Right? You know how embarrassing it is to go hard on someone who's supposed to be the one getting questioned? And then you get stopped in the middle of it being like, hey, are you going a bit too hard? Because it kind of directs attention off of this person onto her. And that could be, something that she obviously doesn't want to happen. But when you just go really stubborn and refuse to take the L, you just put the spotlight on you even harder. Right? It's annoying. It's annoying. Yeah. Here, being a YouTuber is already embarrassing. True. Didn't she straight up threaten people in your stream? I will talk to some people and we will deal with this later. Yeah, that's also probably why people are coming at her aggressively, because if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen, right? Truly, another problem with the approach that she does is if you go really hard on people, right? And you go unreasonably hard on people, even for some people that deserve it, but then especially people that don't, people are going to match that energy. And frankly, even with Ephraim, there was times that she took Ephraim out of context. So some people, was, not fully fair with Ephraim. So some people in retaliation were not very fair with her. And that's something that you do when you do things like that. You open the door to stuff like that. And it's very infuriating. Because when you do this, when you berate people, you open the door to be people berating you. When you say, hey, stop running, get on my stream, I demand it, you open the door for people demanding the same of you, and if you don't do it, you look like a hypocrite. If you are being disingenuous with people, you open the door to people being disingenuous to you. This is very common, sense. This is very basic streamer logic. This is very basic content creator stuff, right, that you have to consider. But it's the reason why people are probably going at her the way she is, but it's a little annoying. Hey Space, if this were me in the title of the stream, how hard do you think she'd go? Lol. Probably, but if I go at her that hard, I evil. I mean, I guess it also kind of depends how you go at someone. I know that this is going to sound soy, but it really would depend. But if you were being purely just critical, Gilded, right, I don't think anyone should care too much if it was just criticisms. If Chuuli went hard at you unreasonably, I think that deserves to be called out. She probably would go hard on you because I imagine you two probably don't get along, right? I would imagine that. Just a hypothetical thought. I don't know. I don't think that, to my knowledge, I haven't seen her cover you. But my guess would probably be that she would be a little emotionally biased and probably go harder than the average if it was you. But yeah. Fuck me. But yeah. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah, but obviously everyone, grows up differently, right?
And Safi. But that's the hard part, because, Safi, you've admitted. I mean, have you or have you not partaken in self-destructive behaviors because of trauma? Or because of grooming?
Of course I have.
Why would you not extend that possibility to RCV when you knew that they were a minor?
Genuinely, it's just because I had never gotten an inkling from RCV in the time that him and I were friends, that was a possibility.
Yeah, so it's very well known that Safi is a person that has been taken advantage of in this community and has not been secretive about it. I think that this is kind of a little unfair to put onto Safi, because it's public knowledge, right? It's public knowledge of what happened to Safi. It's public knowledge for that. With RCV, not so much. And if that never came up in conversations, why would that even be a line of questioning if there was just never a conversation around it? Never gotten an inkling from them. That would just never happen. That would just never get brought up, right? So, obviously there's obviously not going to be any any form of line of questioning, because it just never came up. But yeah, the deflection from the question is crazy too. Yeah. Gilded said, at Ace Space 180, I got along with her well up until she started talking crap to my associates behind the scenes about me and Gallagher. And you know what? At that point, it's fair game, right? I think that look, I obviously, I'm not going to pretend I don't gossip about people, right? There are people I don't like in this space, and I don't sometimes make it dangerously, well known. But usually, if I gossip about people I don't like, I try to keep it in a form of cone of silence. Just because if I don't want those thoughts to be publicized, because if I really did, I would just talk about it publicly, then I just wouldn't have it go around. But where the problem stems from is if you're talking about people in spaces where it's not just you and trusted friends and it goes around, it makes it seem like that it's kind of a pussyfoot attack, because you're not being directly honest with the person, but you're trying to spread the idea and spread the words that in your opinions around to other people so that they can come to that conclusion before anyone even gets a chance to talk to you, right? And that's pussyfoot, okay? I think if you have an issue with someone and you claim to be on good terms with them, or claim to be chill with them, or even friends with them, you should just directly go to them and say what problems you have, right? You shouldn't have to talk to other people to essentially have them air your problems out to them, because that would be what that kind of causes. Okay? So yeah, that would just be unfair. What's up, Netherless? I just don't think some people in the space mature and can't handle when they are wrong. That is sometimes, sadly, a reality. So is your friendship with Chuuli damaged after that stream? After that stream, I don't want to say our friendship is damaged, but as far as it comes to public handling of cases, I just can't work with someone that has a completely different approach to things than I would, right? And like I said, I like to keep the cool, calm, collected, investigative approach for productive conversations. She clearly just wanted to berate people out of personal satisfaction, and I'm not going to hate her for that. Pete, there's enjoyment to that. There's an audience for that. That's just not my main go-to for a cup of tea. All right, I don't really like to yell personally. Do I sometimes fuck with people that are unproductive? 100%. I'm not going to deny that. There's obviously an appeal to it, but I don't try to make it my main thing. If I am genuinely trying to find out information, I do genuinely try to find out information. And in the style that she does it, it just doesn't work. And to be honest, to be frank, I think it's for the best for her not to approach this type of content, because it's very clearly affecting her, right? If she's this emotionally attached to it, where it's genuinely getting her so heated up that she's going at the wrong targets too hard, it's probably not the best thing for her, right? And I'm not saying she can't make content. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is this content is clearly not helping her. This content is actually probably making things worse. I don't think I've ever really seen much happiness when going through the SCC. It's a lot of stress that I see. It's a lot of, exhaust and tiresome stuff because, frankly, it is a degenerate cesspit corner with a lot of fuck shit that happened. But I personally just think that she can't really handle that. So I would just argue that it's probably best for her not to try to handle that. Ugh. Yeah. Hey, Space, would her approach matter had she collaborated with you better while you two streamed together? Yeah. Because here's the thing, right? Like I said, Safi was the wrong target to berate. And if I'm not trying to get information out of someone, then sure, have at it. I don't really care. But if I am trying to get information out of someone, I can't do that approach, realistically. I just can't. Okay? And it's nonsense that when we're questioning someone, I have to basically pipe up to be like, hey, you're going too hard. All right? I think that that's nonsense. I think that Safi does not deserve to have a kill shot against them for being a defensive partner. So yeah. Yeah, I would think that approach 100% matters when going through this shit. 100%. Safi was right to question, but it felt too bashy. Yeah. No, 100%. Let me actually... Is there... Let me try to see if I can look for it real quick. Because I'm pretty sure I saw that comment happen before. Let me just go back to the live if it's still up. I imagine it's still up. We should see Safi, because there's David Grimm, and I just want to watch a little bit before.
Not prove.
Well, I tried building off of it, but I think I kind of got my answer.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, hold on.
At the end of the day, there's two options.
Yada,
have
yada.
an emotional affection.
Yada yada.
Their,
Up. I want to get right
be
before going into Safi.
To come on.
Safi.
Come back here.
Okay. Get to Kai Rise.
Here,
Fuck. It's parent.
Hold on, fuck. Can I find it? I did not have this part
I
planned.
got my answer.
Fuck, I did not have this part planned, to be honest.
Let me see if Safi
okay.
is ready to come on stream.
I'm not ready for them. We should wait an hour.
Scare me.
I'm
They're just
pretty
like
sure she
Cal.
made the
They're
comment.
very
It's
scary.
fucked up, right? Because I
And-
like talking about wrestling with Safi.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't have to be like a kill call. Like the
Akarai
fuck.
donated $2
I'm
to the
killing them.
nation. Come back here.
Okay.
Is Yen the big bun of the SCC?
Yeah.
No. I'm giving it to Kai Rice.
Okay, I'm gonna be very transparent. No, never mind.
Yeah, no. So like there was like light conversation about like being like, oh, let's go for the fucking kill shot, and like Chuuli was talking about like being like, oh, let's kill Saf. We're not doing that. Ace very much pre-watched this shit. Lol. You think so? You think I watched the stream I was on, Gilded? You think I watched it? You think I watched the stream I was on? Interesting.
You didn't
He
raise
never
the
spoken
victim
about
fee.
stuff like that.
Bro.
He didn't, like, we never, like, the sexual trauma or past
Do you know what Yen thinks about all this? I'm pretty sure Yen hopped on Oplox to talk about it. But yeah.
traumas with RCV in particular, and never come up between him and I. It was never mentioned with Habit, when Habit would talk about RCV. So it never crossed my mind to think about it as a possibility.
Okay. That finished up that clip. But yeah, no, Yen shares a lot of the same criticisms. They were pretty critical of Chuuli to my understanding on Opblocks. I haven't watched all of it, but yeah. Ace 1 millisecond before that clip was like, hey, this was a planned op against Chuuli the whole time. Yeah, nice one, buddy. Nice one. Yeah, Yen gave her thoughts. Yes, I do think so. I don't watch streams I'm on. I don't have the attention span. Haha. Insane. Insane. But yeah, kind of just recap this clip. But yeah, to recap this clip, right? This was something that looked like it derived from personal experience, right? Something that derived from personal perception, personal worldview. And I think her emotions got the best of her for this. And that's just unfortunate because it led her to be stubborn. I think that she didn't want to look like a fool. And I mean, it's just bleak. So it is unfortunate. I don't think the therapeutic porn argument should have not come up, but whatever. Here we are. Yeah, here we are. Fuck me. But yeah. So to do this in the right order, I will admit I probably should have, piped up for this one. But this was when we went over the Dual Tones SEC communications video. Now, I have made defenses for Chuuli when it was just this clip because I did talk to her after stream for this clip. And you know what? I'll play it and I'll talk about it. And that will make more sense.
It is generally a little bit more difficult to, like, groom an adult, like, in a situation where, like, someone's in, like, a position of power, like, very real, legally recognized power. Because obviously the adults have more grown brains, but, like, obviously it's not impossible. I think grooming probably isn't the most common word to describe it, but definitely things like coercion.
Now, when we talked about this after stream, I genuinely thought that this was just a poorly timed take, because that's just kind of how she described it, because this was pretty much right after the concept of a reverse predator case, which you guys know if you've seen my streams. I went over the Morgan stuff, right? And that was a case where a 26-year-old tried to claim to be groomed by a 17-year-old, which is nonsensical, right? Now, when I talked to Chuuli about this, she explained to me that she was talking about adults grooming another adults, and it was just a poorly timed clip. And this would be the concept of, like, sex trafficking victims or cult victims, right? Or maybe even a neurotypical adult and an adult that is, like, has a mentality of a 15-year-old, right? That's where she would talk about, it gets into a whole power dynamic argument. It gets into complex things. You start to leave the colloquial, definition, and you just start going into all these more, not really heavily talked about things. That's not to say that I don't think I don't think that it's impossible to be a grooming victim in those scenarios. It's just not as commonly talked about. I would say, because it doesn't really frequently happen in drama spaces. Oh, thanks for the 5s. Gulps reverse grooming. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I did defend the fact that it was poorly timed, because that's what she told me. Right? Now, I will take an L. Right? Because it's a bit bleak that this was before I made the defense for her after our private conversation, after stream. That's what she explained to me. And then
work. How could you, Rin?
We go over these DMs. We do a lot of yapping. It's dumb. It's about Morgan stuff. I've already explained it. We'll get
teens. So this was
through it a bit
when Morgan's name kind of got brought up, I suppose. Like this would have been after that. Yeah, after we went over.
Nice one, Gilded. Fuck me. Thanks for the donos, guys. Thank you. It's all appreciated. I'll make another dono goal for the mic, because the mic needs to definitely upgrade. But yeah, while I do that, I'm going to let the clip just play itself, right?
Some RCB stuff. So yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah. Didn't bother to tell them to each other until a few days after he confessed that he had feelings towards me, which happened at February 21st, 2023. While
23rd.
they both of us...
Stop!
No, it's which happened at February... They confessed feelings at February 21st, but they revealed ages at February 23rd. Someone didn't read the docu. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess this just kind of just goes to show. Oh, thank you, Pudgy, for becoming a member. I think this just kind of goes to show that I definitely did a lot more of the heavy lifting when it came to the research. Because, you know what? Fuck it. I'll be blunt. When it came to this stuff, right? When it came to this stuff, I pretty much did, like, majority of the research. Just because that's just what I do a lot. It's whatever, right? I did a lot of the heavy lifting when it came to that. Okay? Now... It's a bit bleak because the Morgan stuff, I mean, I definitely did a lot of looking through it. That's why I'm doing the stream. That's why I'm going to do another stream wrapping stuff up. But even just moments like that, it just kind of makes it very painfully clear to me that she didn't really go through it or really like take much looks at it. She just was going to go over it blind, it looks like. But yeah. It's a bit bleak. She could have done more research in that regard. But whatever. I'll keep it going.
Wow.
Rin also told me that from all that info from the doc, where I claimed that my ex groomed me, minors cannot groom adults, which, yeah, it is true, and I admit...
like 99.9% of cases, yes.
That's the problem as well. Ace, listen, I'm a sweep a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with her doing that as long as she stayed measured. Yeah. I mean, she just didn't really do any research, though. That's the problem with that. I don't mind the blind coverage of it, but it's like, I mean, there's no way that you're going to correct me mid-stream when you're just objectively wrong, dude. Yeah, never blind react serious topics. I think that, yeah, there's just a time and place as well. How often are you doing the heavy lifting and research? The liquid stuff was mainly me. RCV stuff was stuff that I looked at, but now Yen's been taking care of it for a video. But I got like all the basis stuff for that. And the Morgan stuff, that was just all me. Because Yen was already busy making a video, and she's been busy with Fiendish Cavern. I wouldn't put that on her. So, most of the SCC stuff has been heavy lifting on my end. But, yeah. It is what it is, right? Because, I mean, we talked about it live, so, I mean, I guess we did do it. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I did, yeah. I do all the heavy lifting with Deed and Silver. Insane Gilla, yeah. Whatever. Insane guy. But, yeah, no. It is what it is. That's just what yeah. Yeah. What can you do? But, we continue.
I don't see a case where a minor can groom an adult. What would be an example?
Someone would have to be like very, very like mentally disabled.
Bro.
Well, even then, I think that that's just a... I feel like that there's to say that I don't know. Would I call a minor a predator in that instance?
You're
I
getting
don't know.
into something. You're getting into real.
Yeah, no, I really tried to understand where she was coming from, and I just was not connecting. I genuinely tried. Okay, there's no cases where a minor can groom an adult. No, we're not doing that. And this is just one of those hypotheticals where you have to make up a person for it to be the case. We're not doing that. It's dumb. It's stupid, right? We're not. No. 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 But yeah, no. This is just a worthless thing to bring up. To be honest, God, dude, why is my donos being annoying? Oh, thank you, Kayak, for being a member for 5 months. I like Chuuli, I do, but I don't know about this really, so I'm just gonna sit and listen. Yeah, you have to make a guy up, lol. Yeah, no, unironically. Yeah, I agree. I actually agree. You have to make up a person for this type of hypothetical. Because you have to unironically be like, well, if the cases were this, and the cases were that, this is just not, no. This is just arguing for the sake of wanting to hear your own voice. Okay, this is not, no. It's a bit bleak. What can I do? Yeah, what can you do? Man, fuck my dono goals, by the way. I'm just gonna do this. My fault, guys. Gives myself memberships. Thanks. Start another goal. Yeah, we'll just do 3 hours and we'll make it harder to meet for a new mic. Okay. There you guys go. Oh, dude, I almost membershiped myself, dude. Holy fuck me, dude. I'm generous. But yeah, anyways, back to this.
Debate.
Hashtag debate
Yeah,
territory.
because I think yeah, Ace.
I don't even know
If
if I would even
if
like
you take
wanna
advantage
entertain
of
that thought.
people,
Yeah.
stop it. You're a predator.
Yeah, it's like I don't even want to entertain that thought because it's a dumb thought.
Yeah, I don't know if I really agree with that, Chuuli, but it's what.
And again, I'm being soft and playful a little bit here, but I am again just not agreeing with it. It's more or less being like, hey, this is stupid, but whatever. I agree. I probably would have went harder if it wasn't a friend, but what can you do? In 99% of cases, birth control works. Saying birth control doesn't work because 1% of birth control cases fail would be dumb. Minorities don't matter. Yeah, it's like if there's like a it's literally like what? Like it's just cherry picking. It's just attempting to poke holes through the blanket statement, but everyone knows what you mean. If you just say, yeah, minors can't groom adults, right? Everyone knows what I mean. There's no point to go, well, what if it's like a 17-year-old that's like 364 days into being 17, and there's like an adult that like has the mentality of like a 13-and-a-half-year-old? Would you consider that minor to be a groomer? It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are we even talking about this? Dude. Ugh. Nice one, Saint. Nice one. But yeah, anyways. Whatever.
Yeah, if you
Pat your
sexually
head.
take advantage of someone, I think you're pretty evil.
Yeah, if you take advantage of someone, you suck. Sure. Yeah, that's not being a groom. That's not a minor grooming an adult, though, is it? That's why this is a little infuriating. There's a little bit of shifting of the goalpost. I think she's realizing that this is a dumb take, and kind of for this one sidesteps to a different standard. Because who the fuck wants to die on the hill that, yeah, there are cases minors can groom adults. It's stupid. It's stupid as fuck. Even entertaining the argument is stupid. It's dumb.
Well, yeah, this is like saying. This is like who's the bigger victim, the drunk woman or the 16-year-old teenager? Like
That's where I think you were gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, you can argue that over there, bud.
Yeah, I can argue that one over there, bud. But you want to argue minors grooming adults on your platform? Fuck me, man. Fuck me. This is dumb. This is stupid. Dude. Whatever. This Scarlet Reaper is at you. Insane. Think everyone needs a vacay? Probably Chuuli. Yeah. I think she would do good if she just took a couple days to herself. Fuck me, man. Ace, no, dude, it's a stupid hypothetical. All right, I essentially brought it up to basically be like to show the absurdity of how stupid this conversation is. It's not worth having. All right, it's a stupid conversation. It adds nothing. It's not productive. Yes, whatever. Do I engage in the debate bro logic? Yes. Get fucked. That's just how I do things sometimes. But whatever. Ugh. I think the clip ends. Yeah. So this is where the stuff ends. Now, naturally, I do got to go over the stuff with the monstrous DMs. Okay. Chuuli should take a spiritual journey on the other side of the wall. Okay, buddy. Relax. Relax. Take it easy, buddy. I have no idea who some of these people are. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, it's just making arguments for the sake of arguments. Dude. And it's just pointless. It's pointless. There's no real reason to do it. There's no real reason to entertain these making up a guy scenarios. There's no real reason. Because, like, at the end of the day, what does it really add? Right? What does it really add to the conversation? At the end of the day, what does... Well, actually, I think if a minor saw an adult on a conservatorship, then, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that would definitely be a case. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? This is dumb as fuck, man. Like, there's just no real reason to even entertain that. Okay? There's no real reason to entertain that. And maybe she just likes the sound of her own voice. Not sure. Now, of course, to also be fair, right? Because again, I don't want any chance of sweeping. I think it's fair to go over this with Monstrous.
Oh my gosh, hello.
Hey, Monstrous.
How are you, Ace?
Oh, I could be better. Fuck me.
I can't imagine why.
Oh yeah, so yeah, let me pop up a share screen for you, Monstrous.
Yeah, please.
So, before I get into your DMs, what is your honest and raw thoughts about the clips I went over?
So, great question. So, I did watch them all, and I watched them a number of times, and they were very, very frustrating to watch. Just because, because when I read and heard Chuli's explanations, it was like borderline being gaslit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really fucking frustrating. Because the gaslighting happened after the fact, right? It was all these caveats after the fact. No, that's not what he meant. Well, that's not what he meant. Well,
Yeah.
okay, well, then why did you put those caveats in the stream? So, and your silence, yours and Yen's silence in those streams was incredibly telling. So
yeah, I
no,
understand. I understand the chatter
Yeah.
mentality of silence is guilt, but you know, it is what it is.
Sure.
That's why I gave the
But it's
take
not-
now. Okay.
Well, but it's not just your silence, right? It's not just Yen's silence. It's the fact that the silence stretches on for so long, and there's opportunities for Chuuli to jump in and go, well, actually, here are
Right.
these caveats that I'm willing to offer, right? Here's additional evidence of what I'm attempting to say, and at no point does Chuuli ever build upon her explanations.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, because I think that if I had to be personally honest, I think that she was there was an element of wanting to validate her opinions to you, and it
Sure.
probably was. There was definitely probably some shifting of the goalpost. It's like with that the minors grooming adults take. She shifted that to, well, if you take advantage of people, I think you're evil, which is a very obvious shift of the goalpost, because I think that what she said she realized was fucking stupid.
Right.
So that's probably what happened in your DMs. That doesn't justify it. It's just that would be my takeaway. If from what it sounds like. But we'll definitely be reading those. But real quick, hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you, Sneaky, for the 5. You could tell Ace was letting out a silent yeah. Okay, buddy. Insane. Insane. But yeah, so I think the easiest way to do this, I'm going to go over this. You're going to read yourself, and I'll read,
Sure.
my buddy Chuuli, right? To make it very clear, right? So below, below are screenshots of my DMs with at the wrong poppy do. By the way, poor person.
I know.
Poor person.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. I think it's funny. I just imagine them just waking up, just like, who the fuck? No, just like, yeah. Anyway, after she initiated contact with me regarding criticisms, I had a statement she made on her 224 stream. I find it interesting that she claims to care about victims while simultaneously wanting to monetize a conversation with one. Very interesting. So we'll let this load. It's gonna be like that. Okay. Do I have to like? Let me just do this. I'll just do this for each one. So, all right.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
No worries.
it.
Yeah, I want to make it easier. All right. Hi. Could I message you some questions I have regarding some of the comments you've made, not even just about today? Because I know you have a psych degree, but I also feel like you're missing some caveats I was making in the stream clip. That's insane. Dude, how are you going to go to someone with a psych degree and be like, well, I just don't think you're seeing the bigger picture? Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It's degrees, by the way. What questions do you have for me?
Well, firstly, unrelated, but where did you get the idea that I was told to research Morgan by multiple people and ignored it? Because I literally have no idea where that came from, as no one else I've talked to besides Ephraim even knew what Morgan did or failed to mention it to me.
Great question. Go ahead and put a pin in it for me. I'm not sure I can get to that particular question today. What's your next one that I can hopefully provide an answer for?
God. Okay, I mean, I will say...
Go ahead.
So I will say, for the Morgan stuff, right, at least to my knowledge of it, how it went down was we covered the Doodle Tones, SEC communications video, right?
Right.
And then all that we would know from that is that they were berated by Nexus for being neutral about the RCV case. Then Rin, I guess, talked to Morgan and talked to Ephraim, and essentially asked Ephraim to apologize to Morgan, which seems chopped because then Ephraim was like, well, no, they dated a minor. Why would I care? And they were like, what? And that was kind of given last minute. Now, I think a criticism I'm more than willing to accept that I could apply to all of us is we, at the very least, because I definitely wanted to vet it before just going gung-ho with the stuff. However, a comment could have been made that, hey, Morgan has these allegations against them, and this is something that we're looking into. We're not definitive about it yet, but this is just what we've heard, so don't reach out to them. I do accept that criticism.
Right. Sure, and I think that's a very fair criticism to make. So just to provide a bit of clarity on why I refuse to answer this question for Julie, I had insider information at the time that these DMs were had between Chuuli and I, and I wasn't willing to give up why I had that insider information, who gave me that insider information, and frankly, it wasn't any of Chuli's business at the time.
Right.
So why would I do that? So
no, I get that.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Is there a reason why you can't? Oh, sorry. Yep. You go.
Sorry. Just to provide a little bit more clarification, by the way, before these DMs were had, Chuuli was told to come to me by someone else, by a mutual friend of ours, and was told not to come at me a specific kind of way, a way that she's often known for coming to other people at. So as we kind of dig into these DMs, you'll kind of notice a switch in the way that I approach her, because I don't appreciate the way that she comes at me. So go ahead.
Right. Before I keep reading, thank you, Better Jar. Chuuli fell into the trap of having their cake and eating it too, like a lot of older ACC people, like Ponder and Manga Common. Oh, that's bleak. That's bleak that's a comparison. Man, fuck me. But Yeah. Is there a reason why you can't?
I want to at this very moment. Do you have another question related to what was said in Opera House today?
Yeah. Because I'm mostly confused to why you believed my talking about kids being groomed into paraphilias or having self-destructive coping mechanisms was sexually immoral art, like the 15-year-old who recreated her molestation in fan fiction. Now I gotta get the next one. Yeah, so it probably follows up after that. Yep. Extended into adults taking advantage of kids or actively engaging with sexual art of children. Was it just because I didn't outright say I didn't think that? I don't know. I felt like I was at least obviously enough only referring to kids and young teens getting wrapped up in this stuff. Okay.
So here, oh, go ahead. Sorry, did you want to add to that?
No, I was just like saying, okay, here you go.
Yes. So here's the issue. You're being reductive. You're speaking on a topic you very clearly have no understanding of to an impressionable audience. I said this in Opera House, but I'll try and be more reductive. You're giving weirdos an out by saying what you did. Now anyone can sit there and say, but I was groomed. I likened this multiple times, might I add, to giving a predator a knife to cut their own noose. What exacerbates this further still, the court of public opinion, malicious as it can be, can now take your logic and apply it to anything you decide to touch, including you and your friend's trauma, which, frankly, I don't fucking care, but you probably will, or you should. If you need this TLDR, you don't know what you're talking about, so stop engaging in armchair psychology, because that is exactly what you did. You shouldn't do it. No one should do it.
Yeah, that's fair. And then we go to... Fuck me. Okay, here we go. Okay. I don't think acknowledging...
Hold on.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Ace, I'm gonna address Gilla really quick because even though multiple people have held Gilla's hand oh so gently, oh so tenderly, Gilla, I cannot reduce this for you further still. Ace and Yen were quiet during the stream, which gave Chuuli a chance, right, to further elucidate, which means to expand upon her logic, her thinking behind her comments, right? So, and she did not do that, right? At no point during the doodle tones, when in particular, right, dead air, and she didn't do that. And instead, what she did is she waited until after the stream and in her little YouTube community post to go, hey guys, this is really what I meant, right? And so what that looks like is, well, gee, guys, I did a really bad, and everyone had to tell me why I did a really bad, right? So that's why I said there was dead air on the stream, and she did not take time to take advantage of that. So do you understand why? Or do more people need to hold your hand, Gilla? Or do you also need to make a community post on your YouTube
This guy.
in like 2 days?
Oh,
No, that's okay. I phrased myself very well, Gilla. If you can't understand, nobody can help you. Go ahead, Ace.
Anyways, first thing. Thanks for the 2 beef vomits, Mon. Read me a bedtime story. Nice one. Yeah. Y'all gotta ignore the rage bait. Cloudy, no sweeping. But yeah, no, we're gonna keep going.
Cloudy.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna read Chuuli. Everyone, calm down the tenseness. Okay, and yes, I did tell a woman to calm down. Yes, I did have a death sentence, but anyways. Chuuli, I don't think acknowledging this multitude of possibilities that could exist in a scenario with no real context given to show how little the info given explains the situation is reductive. Okay? It's literally just true that sick adults try to lure kids into sick shit under the guise that it's not actually the sick shit. This literally happens all the time with lolicon by people in droves of thousands making, high number excuses for why it's not pedophilia. Okay? I'll clarify moving forward to minimize the possibility, but I literally do not think that this kid recreated their sexual trauma in fanfic and needed help is the same as giving an out to people who want to rape children. Skull emoji.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Gold medal in leaping.
Oh.
Reaching.
Yeah, dude. Fuck me. Ugh! Okay. And obviously, no, this doesn't happen all the time with Lolicon, okay? Look, I get that what happened to her was horrific, and I'm not going to take that
Right.
away, but it's very clearly
Sure.
clouding her personal judgment as this happening more often than it
Right.
actually is.
Mhm.
And that's a little tedious.
Well, and the thing is that Chuuli very clearly, at some point or another, understands the entire point that I'm making, that that paraphilias and sexual deviancy is a very complex topic, because in her later conversation with Slug, she literally openly admits that. She goes into a little ramble about it. So she's clearly spoken to someone, or someone has given her talking points about this, right? But she
Yep.
fixates on this, the all clarify, blah 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 blah. But at no point in this DM does she make this point. So after she has a conversation with me, she has this exact same conversation with someone else on this topic.
Right.
At no point did I ever bring this situation up with the grooming and the whatever. I just said this is a complex topic. I don't know why you're talking about it, and why you're being so reductive as to say this is this because of this, or even to
Right.
say, hey, Ace, like, your comment is stupid. Like, everyone who thinks this way is stupid. So
Right.
go ahead and continue.
If they applied my logic to my friends and is trauma, it'd be to give compassion to kids misguided by sick adults. It would not be giving adults taking advantage of kids a pass. Which, yeah, sure, kids don't deserve to get groomed, but they're obviously going to be held accountable for the actions they do. Like, later on in their life as adults. I don't think no one's disputing that, yeah, kids shouldn't get groomed. Grooming bad. Yes. Bravo.
Well,
But
sure. But imagine, right? Imagine, like, you're a young kid, right? And some adult is in the process of grooming you, isolating you from y- uh, your shitty friends and your shitty family, right?
Yep.
And this adult turns around and says, I was like you once, and so this was the whole knife and noose metaphor that I had crafted. So if you do this exact same thing,
Yeah.
or sorry, not you in particular, Ace, but if someone who
Fuck.
is groomed does this exact same thing, sorry, Ace, I hate to be, sorry, you are the groomed now,
Fuck.
but you know, uh, this exact same logic can be used on both the groomed and the groomer to turn the groomed into the groomer, and it just passes the trauma on.
Yep.
And even in spaces where people who are a little bit more empathetic, right, towards people who were the touched and are now the toucher, they'll not go, oh well, shit, you were you were the groomed, my bad, dude.
Yeah.
And then that person gets away, and then you have a David Grimm situation, where it's like, well, sorry, buddy, let me just be your PR person and watch you walk around.
That
So
is still mind blowing to me that was even a fucking thought conceived to even think that was okay. But yeah, okay, before I keep going. Thanks, Red. Chili, the groomed connoisseur, dude. Yeah, look, I made this same joke when I was going over the KP video when they brought in Courtney Pete to look at a rape testimony, and it's like, why would you, why would you take a victim of someone and be like they're an expert? Unironically, and I said this before, okay. Personally, there's two reasons why I would say grooming victims are one of the worst ones to get a take on something like this. Either one, they may go too hard because they're too emotionally invested in it and see their own experience have like similar patterns and think that, oh, it's 100% the same because of what happened to them. Or two, I'm pretty sure that it's kind of bleak, but grooming victims have a higher chance of being groomed again than an average person being groomed once because they were desensitized into the stuff. They were
right.
normalized to stuff. So actually, their radar might not be the best if they weren't able to really recognize it the first time. It's why that they could have it happen again. That's why I would not
Right.
let them be like, here, come in like a Pawn Stars expert and tell me what happened here. It's dumb.
Say Pawn Star Sexpert?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I heard you go. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, fuck me.
I'm gonna change your name to that in Guac Barrel.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop.
You do.
Fuck. Anyways. Again, I never mention adults in the situation, exclusively referred to young kids being groomed into thinking this shit is fine and needing to be helped. I know some people have gotten the idea that I'm just talking about all paraphilias for everyone ever. Well, you did wrap in zoophilia into that conversation, which that was interesting. But fuck me. But yeah, yeah. Thank you for the two, Chuuli. More like Fooly. Haha, got him. Insane. But
Thanks,
yeah,
Phoebus.
fuck me. But I also know several people understood what I was talking about. What, your audience? Clearly, there's more people that don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. See,
Right.
this is a
We have
problem.
people in this chat who have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, like, this is the problem I would also have. Like, obviously, your audience, it's home field advantage. They're gonna be like, yeah, you go, girl. They just like you. They're not thinking about the concepts of, like, this being super nuanced. That's the annoying part. They're not thinking, oh yeah, therapeutic porn? That's my favorite thing to talk about. I know what to do in this situation. This hurts. This hurts. Ugh. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off. Here you go. You'll read this paragraph and I'll grab the next screenshot.
Okay. Ace literally told you on stream that people don't naturally default to quote unquote lolly consumer was groomed, and you called him and the concept stupid. You said nothing about multiple possibilities in the context of the clip, either before or after. Ace even said young adult, quote, in this clip, by the way. You being woefully reductive again, you're being woefully reductive again and talking about something you don't understand conceptually. You talk with your feelings. Go ahead.
Yep, so then we grab the next one.
Hello, Falgi.
How did Falgi get... Oh, wait, sorry, I was about to say, like, there was no way he got in here. I got scared.
Oh, no.
I was about... I got terrified. But yeah. Okay, there you go.
And then you may know several people who understood you, and none of those people have passed a community college level psychology class. Pseudo-intellectual bullshit always sounds smart to people who need finger puppets and play therapy to explain classroom lectures.
Okay. There we go. Yes, I think it's a problem that people automatically, assume the minor is evil for being involved in paraphilic artwork in a way that was normalized to them when they were a younger teen. Lol, sure, why not? Lamau even. Hold on, just to be very, I know this is annoying, but I need to be very autistically clear what they're responding to with this. So being okay, so they said Lamau even to the to the woefully reductive thing. Okay, nice one, Chile. You're right. If that has to be said, then that's crazy, and I have no faith in comprehension from people spelled wrong who need that said. And just to be very clear, that would be okay. Yeah. Okay. See, I don't like that she's responding this way. This is not a civil conversation. She recognizes that you have credentials and this type of stuff, and she's kind of being a pompous asshole in these DMs. It's a little like, this is like arguing with your doctor on, like, you know, what type of disease is which, and then you just saying, well, I've been sick before, so I would know a little bit more than you, pal. Like, this is bleak.
Well, and the thing is, so in this first plate, right, I think it's a problem that people automatically assume the minor is evil. No one said anything. Not a soul in this conversation, and by that I mean me, said people automatically assume the minor is evil for being involved in paraphilic artwork, right? I didn't bring up a minor being evil. I didn't bring up a minor being involved in paraphilic artwork. All I said was, you are being reductive in this conversation because sexual deviancy and paraphilia in general is a very complex topic. We can't even sit there and say, in general, what causes someone to be attracted to a certain fetish or kink. We have theories about certain fetishes. We know that some fetishes are biologically, we theorize rather, that certain fetishes are passed down generationally. We know that some of them are neurological in nature. And that's about it. Some of them are taught, quote unquote, taught to us through grooming. Others are they just kind of happen,
Yeah.
right? So to sit there and say, well, people automatically assume a minor is evil. Girl, who the fuck brought that up? Who? Point on the doll where I
Straw
brought that
man.
up.
Okay, buddy. It's a
I'm
straw man.
begging.
Yeah, it's a straw man. Yeah, that she brought up. It's dumb. Also, thanks Yen for the 1 month the membership. Poor Ace. Fuck you for the chain. But no, yeah, it is just she made up a straw man because that's an easy argument for her to fight.
Right.
That's annoying. You don't do straw mans when you're actually arguing someone. Straw mans literally only exist so that you could practice debating against things, so that if you ever had to go against that point in real life, then you'd be fine. But this is annoying. Fuck me. But yeah.
Yeah.
I did, and I think it's just because you read into stuff I didn't say. If you want to sound so pompous by claiming people who understood what you clearly didn't are beneath you, then prove it. Otherwise, then save it. Hand up emoji. Yeah. How can you criticize someone for being pompous when you say lol sure, why not Lamau even? Come on.
You don't get to complain about optics and sit there and bitch that the optics of your message was shit, which it is. Do you want to go and pull up the next one?
Oh,
Or does it continue? Does it continue?
Yeah, it does. I gotta
okay.
read this last part. I know you.
Oh,
I
sorry.
know.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
thought you read
good.
that one. Just
Stepping
kidding.
on my toes. Whatever. Women
Oh,
always speaking over
balls.
men. Whatever. Adults grooming
Yeah,
children.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Adults grooming children are very clearly not part of the discussion of who needs more saving than lashing. What the if you don't get that, I don't know what else to say. Okay, sorry. Then here you go. Fuck me.
Okay. You don't get to complain about optics and sit there and bitch that the optics of your message was shit, which is exactly what happened here.
Yep.
Several people agreed with you, but dozens disagreed with your statement. Your own audience disagreed with you, which is true. That is exactly what happened.
Yep.
Word choice matters. Conveying your message matters, which is exactly why I pointed out that the dead air in the cuts, which shout out to Amos for those bits, by the way.
Yeah.
I got those bits from Amos.
Yep.
Conveying your message matters. It has always mattered. I'm not a streamer, but I know a little bit about word choice. And since you can't do it and don't care about it, judging by Ace's server, which is where I got several screenshots of her kind of parading around this pretend victory lap that she was doing, maybe you just shouldn't, right? Because it's clear you read almost nothing of what I post, or you read almost nothing of what I posted. Here's an easy guide. And then in this guide was 8 screenshots of comments specifically aimed at her that I had posted in Opera House, specifically referring to her comments in particular, specifically about these two, her two. Actually, I think it was actually just the second clip from Amos, from the Sappy clip.
I mean, to be fair, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of because even like just to like kind of build on the audience doesn't like not everyone in the audience agrees with her. I mean, I've seen countless people in OpBlock server just go, "I'm really disappointed in Chuuli. I'm really disappointed in this." It's like they don't say that they hate Chuuli, which I'm not going to encourage people to do, but I will say that it's not just the take, right? At this point, it's how she's going about it. It's that she's like kind of like just swinging her big sub count around or whatever, yada yada, and just like thinking that she can kind of just get you to, because how this comes off is that it kind of seems like she only just seeks for validation in your DMs with how this is going. You're not giving it to her, and then she's getting all sassy, and that's stupid.
Right.
That's
right.
Immature as fuck, and unironically, it's childish, to say the least.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, she calls me pompous, right? And actually, it might be in the next. It might be in the next screenshot, but I'm not. I'm egotistical. I'm 100% egotistical. I'm egotistical, and I'm a cunt, and I will never argue that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But Chuuli was warned that. Chuuli was 100% warned that if you try and bite at me, I will bite you harder. I have nothing to lose. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't stream. This is fun for me.
Yeah, countless
Shit like
people have
this is
warned her about that, not just one.
right. So right. So I don't know why she wanted to nip at my heels like this. So uh, I'm
Yeah.
astounded.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay. Let's look at this and then oh fuck. Oh wait, no, we
Next
read,
one.
sorry, yeah, we read that one. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Ah, unfortunately, you have not really showed me why I'm wrong and shouldn't have opened my mouth in any other way than bad faith actors will be bad faith actors. Salute, dude. Dude. Bro.
You brought up numbers first, and there's a screenshot where she brought up several people.
Yeah. And she was
So,
clearly referring to her audience, so yeah. It's fair. But fuck
which
me.
is fine.
Then we got that's me mentioning that people were able to understand what I was getting at. That's not a numbers game of who thinks what more. Dude, it is though.
Yeah, that's a numbers game. You can dress it up however you like. You can pretend to be as ambiguous as you like, but that is a numbers game. End of. So, and for the record, I'm
Mhm.
not going to sit here and talk about the intricacies of deviancy and paraphilias. That is such a long, long conversation.
Yeah.
The only conversation you need to have is this is a complex topic, and that is it.
Yeah.
That is the only conversation you ever need to have.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a reason why you learn
Right.
degrees for this
Right.
thing.
But also, this is a conversation I would never have in a public space.
Yeah.
This is a conversation I struggle to have in a private space because I don't know who's listening. I don't know who's recording. I don't know who's doing what. I don't want those words getting out because I just the same as I have had in Opera House, I'm very careful about the words that I choose, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to give anyone any wiggle room ever.
Right.
So if I tell you this is a complex, let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So I don't owe you the courtesy or explanation of why you're wrong either. You came to me to ask me questions. I explained why you were wrong. The sum of it is, this is a complex topic. I can lead the horse to water, but I cannot beat it over the head to make it understand why telling an audience people can be groomed into liking stuff they shouldn't be a take you broadcast because people will then turn around and weaponize the statement. Again, I repeat myself. Ace gave you an out and said that the average consumer isn't going to ask this question. And you called him and this concept stupid, which arguably is even more fucking stupid. You do not possess the knowledge or understanding of psychology or sexual deviancy in order to comment on it, so stop. Or don't. I fucked the sentence up. Or don't. Get pissed off. Or I'm sorry, or piss the touched off. And you
Right.
saying several people is the fucking numbers game. It's the same thing. I don't owe you an explanation, but I provided you 8 screenshots of why you are wrong.
I disagree. And if you have no interest in engaging with that, then okay, skull emoji. Wasn't there more? Oh, hold on, let me.
Yeah, there's more.
Oh yeah, then there's this one. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for.
And then our infamous screenshot. Yes.
Yep, and then
Okay.
yep, and you say this.
So I said, you came to me.
And you answered, pray emoji.
You can disagree and look stupid. I don't care.
Then let us go with God, salute emoji. Okay.
Next time you want a tango, let's do it publicly and in the same space. Yeah, and the reason why I said this, right, is because when you guys did when you guys had recently done a stream, I believe that it was the one where you guys talked to David Grimm, right, at the end of that, or towards the end of that.
Think so?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Chuuli had made a statement about wanting to talk to people in private.
Yes, okay.
And
Yep.
that statement pissed me off a lot because I don't appreciate people who throw their weight around like that. I mean, I will happily talk to anyone in private, but when you threaten people like that, when you thump your chest out like that, that ain't cool with me. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, and I am aware that there were spaces that you weren't in at the time, even in my server before you joined, that she would just kind of swing around. And it's like, it's just kind of annoying because it's like, she knows who you are. She could always reach out and just like be like, "Hey, what's up with this? What's going on here?" Which
Right.
she didn't even do this out of her own volition. She was asked to. Which is a little annoying. Like I said before, it's pussyfoot. If you're gonna like talk about people in spaces that they're not, but like, you know, with other people there, because it's one thing, right? I will say it's one thing if she talked about this to a close friend in a cone of silence where it would not get leaked. The problem is she talked about this in spaces where chatters would obviously spread it around naturally. So it's like that's what makes it pussyfoot to me.
And that's the thing. When you say stuff to your friend, right? There is some minor expectation of privacy that your friend, your single friend, right? Or maybe a small, very, very small group of friends isn't going to say anything, right?
Yeah.
But when you say this in a space, in a group chat, in a small server of friends, you always risk the possibility that you're going to piss off someone, you're going to upset someone, and that person is going to leak what you say
Mm-hmm.
to whoever that person is that you're shit talking,
Yes.
right? You always run that risk. Always.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful about the things that you say. You will ruin friendships, you will ruin discords, you will ruin groups, you'll ruin projects. You have to be very careful about the things that you say.
I wouldn't know
So-
what ruining friendships looks like. Anyways. Anyways.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. Sure. But only if I can monetize it. Dude. Fuck me.
That's yeah. Oh, I thought you cared about optics.
I like money, dude.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. What an odd thing to say from someone who claims to care about victims. I was raped as a teen, touched as a child, and groomed online as a teen. You can exploit another victim for your monetary gain? Interesting choice.
Dude, I also experience those things, and I don't think devoting my minutes to making money for a public discussion anyways is exploitation. You're also not entitled to my time and my presence. Dude, fuck off, dude.
Then leave. Bye. Or do you need the last word?
Yeah, okay, arguably this is like the most childish message out of all this.
Right.
Just being like,
And mind you,
dude. Yep.
and mind you, the do you need a last word? That is a very common tactic I've used for plenty of people. You know, do you, oh, sweetheart, do you really need the last word? Well, don't worry. I'm so generous and benevolent. I would be happy to give it to you. So, you know, but the mind you, my history, right? My past history of being part of the touched trademark symbol is I don't parade it around. It's not a secret. But it's not something that I feel the need to parade around.
Yeah,
so,
I think this was like the first time I've ever actually
oh no,
heard about it.
it's something that I've definitely talked about on Twitter.
Yeah.
Generally in fights with people. But yeah, but this is not. It's yeah.
Yeah.
But I was very disappointed in this response. Because, well, you're also not entitled to my time and my presence. Well, quite frankly, I at no point, right, did I say, well, you need to come back here. You need to
Yeah.
come back here. You need to have this conversation with me. I don't fucking want your time. I don't want your time and your presence. You were told to be careful how you approached me. You were told not to thump your chest. You were told not to have an attitude with me. And you did it anyway. You
Yeah.
were like, I don't understand this logic. Like, and you know, later in her conversation with Slug, she says, oh God, something about, people have monetized calls and Thunderdome before. I just don't understand why I couldn't do that. Well, sure, but I had good relationships with those people. I liked those people. I didn't mind if those people. I mean, I don't make a cent off of Thunderdome when those calls go out. I don't care. Thunderdome is just a funny haha project for me. But if I don't fucking like you, you're not monetizing a fucking thing off of me.
Yep.
If I don't like you, right? I don't want you to profit anything off of me in particular. But also, why are you profiting off of my information, my knowledge, my trauma? That's really weird when you claim to be a victim advocate. So
Yeah. Which before I say anything else, hold on, let me just acknowledge this individual gulps.
yeah,
As a victim myself, this is so disgusting behavior again. I would not act like this. I get it that she's a victim, but using it for money is just plain wrong, and thank you for the 10. But yeah, no, I think both could be true, right? I think it's fair to acknowledge that she's a victim, right? But I
Sure,
also think it's
absolutely.
fair to critique on, like, because, okay, a victim is not a profession. Okay, I
No,
understand
absolutely.
that you'll probably have more of an understanding than the average person because you've been through some of this stuff, and it kind of shows that she expects it to be the average knowledge, but that doesn't make her an expert. It's not a profession.
Right.
She didn't learn about it. She just been through some tough shit that she should not have, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
it's tedious because with stuff like
Mhm.
this, she does parade that she does care, right? Which,
Right.
fine,
Correct.
fine.
Right.
But then if you're also saying you're doing it for money, I can understand why the conclusion would be, so you're only you're only covering victims for a financial gain. Like, that's
Correct.
essentially how it comes off. And that's and I'm still trying to give good faith to that, but I can understand why someone would make that argument. I'm not necessarily going to argue against it because it's like I can understand where they're coming from, and I think that she doesn't really do a good job explaining herself. I think that that's something that she needs to explain, but there's a reason why other creators, don't get shit for covering these type of cases, because they're not going, oh, I care about the victims. I just want them to be 100% okay. There's nothing wrong with caring about the victims, but when you make
Right.
it your platform, it does bring into question, because caring about the victims and doing it for money is contradictory statements.
Right.
You care about
Exactly.
one or the other.
Right. And that's my big issue in this, right? I do not claim to be an advocate for victims. I do not care one way or the fucking next. A pinata is a pinata as far as I'm concerned. Deed and Silver is a phenomenal example. I would love
Yeah.
to go verbal toe to toe with Deed personally, and I have asked
Yeah.
Deed to go toe to toe with me in Thunderdome, and I don't give a shit about either of them. But I don't claim to be an advocate for victims at all whatsoever.
Right.
But in this situation, like, girl, you good? Um, and that's my issue in all of this. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
understand.
It's a shame.
It's dude, it's just dumb that it went from a bad take on stream to just, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
And yeah, and the thing is, all she had to do, right, is walk the statement back. Hey, sorry guys, I don't know what I'm fucking talking about, and I shouldn't have said the things, and I don't think anyone would have cared, right? Instead, you know, didn't like what I had to say, and that's fine. You don't gotta like me. A lot of people fucking hate me. I'm not pressed about it. But when you go and you shit talk behind the scenes, I'm gonna have an issue with that, and I'm not gonna be nice to you in DMs,
Right.
certainly. And then you come to me, ask me questions, and pretend to play nice with me. I'm gonna bite your head off. So you give me that energy. I'm gonna match it, and yeah,
Which,
it's together. So
yeah, which, that was the defense I would give to her. I mean, I feel like if she went against someone, and if it was matching energy, I don't see an issue with it. I understand that the problem is if there's a person with 1 HP voice and she's crashing out at them, it just looks schizophrenic as fuck when she's going at them like that. But I will say, like, if you're matching someone's energy, it's not something I will do a lot, but I can. That's a lot more understandable and fair
right,
of a response than yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right. Well, when you lie to my face and you're like, well, I didn't mention numbers. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you did. You know, well,
yeah,
when you're hopping from point to point about, minors aren't evil. What? What? Nobody brought up minors being evil.
yeah.
What the fuck you talking about? You know,
No, yeah.
there was too much.
to really highlight, yeah, sorry, not to cut a woman off as a male feminist, whoops, but no, like to, yeah,
Performative feminism. Yeah.
whatever, but no, to really highlight just the absurdity to the chat here, right? Chuuli went to Monstrous to essentially frame it like they were going to have a civil conversation. Fuck, I did something stupid. Hopefully I doxed myself. Hopefully. No. Anyways, she went to you, right? She went to Monstrous to essentially frame it like they were having a civil conversation. Acknowledges that she has a psych degree, but says, hey, maybe I just didn't explain myself clear enough. You're missing some caveats, right? And essentially, this whole conversation is arguing with someone with a fucking psych degree in the clip that she's talking about, and saying that the person with the psych degree does not have enough context or information to understand her take because of her experience with it personally. That's how absurd this is, and it's very clear that she's being very childish because with the last word thing, yeah. Or like, you know, there's just moments where it's like, let's go with God, salute emoji. Or there's just moments where she's like, lol, lamau even. Like, she's not taking this seriously. She doesn't care. She acknowledges it like it's civil, just to leave like a child. It's stupid. And I really want that to be highlighted, because this is not okay. Like, I'm not going to try to like moral grandstand, obviously, but this is not something that you should be expecting. Like, this is how, okay, to put it into better words, she's putting a foot forward, but behind the scenes is acting very petty and childish. And you can't take the morally superior approach if you're just going to go to someone with more experience with you on the topic when you're objectively wrong, and then just get all like, have a childish rampage in their DMs. This is stupid. This is just because they wouldn't validate your thoughts. This is just because they didn't agree with you. They didn't, you know, pat you on the back being like, you know what, Chuuli, you're not, maybe your take wasn't that bad. Like, I think she was expecting something like that out of you, which is why it's annoying. It's tedious. It's childish.
And to address one of the chatters nodding CS, yes, Lio is very aware of this conversation. So he is very, very, very aware of this conversation. So
yes.
Yeah.
Dude.
Are we in middle school? Are we in fucking middle school with this shit? Baby, we never left.
On God.
The middle school DLC.
Maybe they were manipulated to go into middle school, though, to be honest, but fuck me. Okay. Okay. So, Monstrous, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over... I've heard that this call is not... You know, it gets bleak. I pulled up this version because this is too fucking loud and I can't even turn down the volume on this site, so we're going with this version.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, here we go. I turned down the volume. Here we go.
I'm just gonna record this.
Is this fine, or should I turn it up?
No, I can't hear a thing.
You can't hear anything, or you can?
No.
Weird. Okay, let me turn it up a bit. That's fucking weird. Remember Ace keeps staying gangster? Thanks, Red. Thanks, buddy. Fuck me.
Good.
Yep.
Can you hear it now?
Give me just a second.
Yeah, no worries.
No.
Is my stream...
Why is it so quiet?
Ugh. Have you tried turning on my share screen? Just a thought.
I'm literally watching it.
Whatever, dude. No, turning it up, like, you know, manually. But whatever.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll turn it up a little bit more just for you. Okay. Fucking.
Thank you. Literally, your chat is asking to be turned up more.
Bending the knee for the women. Okay, that's what I always do.
Performative male feminism.
Whatever. Here we go. Yada yada yada.
Next year to be reading Class. Yeah.
Why is it just dead silence?
Blue, dabu dee dabu die.
Shut the fuck up, Slug.
Dabu dee dabu die.
I dox people.
Okay, I'm back.
Anyways.
All right. So you're cool with it being recorded?
Yeah, I don't care.
Did I speak with Slug, Ace? Of course. I asked that. How do you think I got this? He just can't post on YouTube because he's a little banned at the moment. But yeah, anyways. Moves on.
All right, bet.
Oh, thank you for the 2. I know what you are. Oh, anyways.
So
Okay.
yeah, this is mainly about the like weird thing involving, and this is from what I've heard outside of your streams
Okay.
about like saying it's fine for a minor to consume paraphilic material. Kind of want to get your take before I go into any in-depth questions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Is there a reason why people would think that? Like based
Okay.
off of what was said either on your stream or another person's stream?
From what I gathered with everything on the stream, I was too vague about my actual points, and then like I came off way too definitive about my examples, and it sounded like I was.
You're too vague but too definitive. What do you mean? That's literally contradicting. We all saw the clip, all right? They're not being vague, they're being stupidly specific, which is the issue. that's actually part of the issue. They're being way
If
too
a guy
definitive.
with a gun.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
the Fauci clip?
No,
sorry, the pretend Fauci clip.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Saying these things were okay. When I was more so saying like, hey, there's not enough context here. There's not enough to like just run with the idea that this person who used to like paraphilic material when they were a young teen is like an
Allegedly.
active predator.
Dude, like, okay, I can't stress this. I know, like, this is gonna be annoying for some people, but I gotta be really blunt with the RCV5 stuff. Literally, there is no evidence about that. That's why entertaining that hypothetical was annoying. Alright? That's why entertaining that thought process was annoying. Because there's no evidence that RCV5 isn't a lolicon. There's no evidence that that conversation even happened. And RCV5 denies it while the person accusing it is already been proven to be a liar. So it's kind of hard to even press that harder than it is. There's no evidence or anything for the claim. So personally, I wouldn't even entertain that, to be honest with you. Like, I wouldn't entertain going into like, you know, the nuances of therapeutic porn off of something you don't even know if it happened or not. Like, what the that would be like one of my main annoyances. Do you disagree, Monstrous, or do you hate me?
No, I do not hate you. Don't worry.
Okay. Also,
who could hate you, Ace?
Everybody. But anyways,
Oh, wow.
Gulps. Thanks for the 5, Gilla. And before Ace ends streams, when Slug starts talking about illness curing goth Latina women and attempts armpit sweat. Nice one. Nice one. Yeah, I saw that he did. Look, Slug is a little bit of a gooner, okay? You can't really change him. We're not getting into that.
Okay.
All right. So, and kind of to get a little bit of context in case anyone that does watch this doesn't know what happened, what was the specific scenario? Because again, this will always go out to a different crowd regardless of who uploads it.
Yeah, the scenario was basically that this person had been accused of grooming with like little to no evidence. And when I tried to interrogate the reasoning why this person, you know, this person being Safi, would, you know, why they would be fully convinced off of no evidence and feel it okay to make accusations publicly of this person being a groomer. They said that the alleged groomer in question, when they were a minor, had felt offended at the concept of like, oh, everyone who's ever, you know, engaged with lolicon is like a pedophile and a danger to children. They were like, dude, I used to like that stuff when I was younger, but like I'm not a pedophile. I just left it.
All right.
And so I was like, that's not enough to go off of to call someone a groomer.
So, kind of to build off of that.
See, that's just not how the form of argumentation went down, though, right? Like, I just like that's the annoying part. You weren't saying that's like, okay, yes, there's not enough to go off of to even remotely even imply personally for me to say that, you know, that RCV is a predator or a groomer or pedophile or anything. There's nothing even close for me to even hold a candle to those labels. But that's not, like, we all watched the clip. That's not what the line of argumentation was. The line of argumentation was, well, you heard that this person was into this content. Why did you not consider that they were groomed into it rather than coming to the conclusion that they were a freak? That's not the same as how you just framed it here. So, like, that's a little annoying. Now, maybe, well, I can't even say it's old, right? Like, this is like fucking 2 weeks ago, right? Like, this, I can't even say that, oh, you forgot about it.
It's
Like,
not even that old. Like a week.
yeah. Nobody is striking anything. Let's work on facts here. Who the fuck is saying people are striking? I doubt she strike it down. Yeah, no one's gonna strike. Okay, Chuuli doesn't strike things down to my knowledge. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, no one's gonna strike this down. No one's gonna. I don't think Slug strikes things down. At least not for no reason. I don't know. I don't know about his history. But no, we're not even gonna entertain that, chat. Relax, calm down, take a breather. All right, let's keep going. Gulps.
From what I saw on the stream, you did condemn Ace's statement in response about how it's not realistic that people consider whether someone was groomed into liking something sexually deviant.
Okay.
Is that, like, can you explain why you either condemned it?
Let's hear it.
To be honest, at first I didn't even realize what he was doing, because if you watch the full stream, he's rage baiting the shit out of me.
No. This is dumb to me because, again, we all saw the clip, right? And must I remind the chat, this is annoying to me. This is such a cop-out. Okay, let me just...
You weren't rage baiting her, Ace? I'm shocked.
And then ran with it.
Shocked, I say.
Dude, literally, okay. Look at me epically coming in with the fucking rage bait here.
Based on that.
Hold on.
And then ran with it.
Right here.
Is that as common, though, Chuuli? Just to ask.
Classic Ace rage bait. Just asking a basic question.
For clarification.
Hold on.
With the victim drawing it for, like, a, what's it called? Like, therapeutic reasons, I guess? Is that as common as the alternative?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, obviously,
Takes
like,
it
when someone has, like,
seriously.
an interest in lolicon, would it be more
I
often
expand
due to the fact
on
because
it.
they were groomed into it, or because that they have their own interest into it because of how they
It
were
can be
wired?
either or, honestly.
Seriously engages with
It
it.
can be
Dude, no, she didn't think it was a rage bait. That's my point. This is 100% a cop-out. This is something that actually genuinely kind of annoyed me a bit. This is not a rage bait. Look, I have rage baited before. Obviously, I sometimes do that. I like fucking with people. Fuck God, monsters would know I like fucking with people, right? But the difference is, people could generally tell when I'm being serious and being rage baity. And here's the thing, I understand that sometimes autism gives you a lack of social cues, but there is literally, the reason why this annoys me so much, because she seriously engages with it. That's not, you didn't even think it was rage baiting.
Well, she's shoving the accountability back onto you by saying, "Well, he was just rage baiting me." What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You can't even own up to the fact that you poorly answered, or you poorly responded to this. Are you fucking kidding me? Your friend tries to come in and save you. What do you mean?
That's the annoying part. We have a before. Hold on. Thank you, Sneaky, for the 5. Goth Latinas are pretty rad, my guy. Better than bikes. Okay, fuck off. Anyways, no, see, that's rage bait. No, but but no. The thing is, though, right? It's just so clear. I'm not rage baiting. That's why it's so. It's a cop out. I think that she got tired of people seeing that I was the rational one in that clip, and that she was the stubborn one, and in an attempt to try to alleviate any form of heat off of her back, she plays this card of, oh, I only acted that way because I thought he was being a classic rage baiter. You know how Ace is. But it's just very clear to anybody who sees this, that's just not fucking what happened. And, God, this is so annoying. This is so fucking annoying. So, yes, sorry.
I was gonna say, no, you're okay. Sometimes
you
your
go.
friends just say something so fucking out of whack, right? That you're just too stunned to speak. And you're like, no, hold on. I gotta fucking rein you in.
Yeah.
And even that just doesn't work.
No, yeah.
And then you're still too stunned to speak. I'm not rage baiting you, bro. I'm trying to fucking save you from hanging yourself in front of the court of public opinion. Jesus fucking God. That high key, that pissed me off. I was so fucking bad for you. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little annoyed too. Because in the moment, I know she's being stubborn. Okay, so like when she like says the whole thing is stupid and then doubles down, I take that as she's being stubborn, she's embarrassed,
Yeah.
and kind of wants to move on from
Sure.
it. I at the time did not really take it as a personal jab, but I think that she does not really like how the public perception is because it's just accurate on this. So then she's just going,
Sure.
this is 100% a cop out. 100%.
Sure.
I know she obviously, because I can't stress this enough. She took the conversation seriously. She didn't even think it was a rage bait. This is history revision, and she is being she's tactically using it as a way to be like, oh no, Chuuli, we get it. Yeah, that ace guy is a silly, quirky little fella. Yeah, we get it. Fuck off.
Well, not the word I thought you were going to use, but yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I usually use male feminist. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, okay.
Fuck me. Yeah. Dude,
My
fuck.
DMs with you. Yeah, okay.
Anyways.
Feminist.
Yeah, anyways.
Okay.
That entire stream, and I get used to that, so I didn't immediately pick up on the fact that he was being serious.
You did, though.
And like listen to what he was saying. I don't think it's necessarily stupid that people don't assume the grooming was happened. I would say a more accurate take for what I really believe in is that I think it's a problem that people immediately go with the worst interpretation, which is life ruining.
So I'm able to agree on the idea that it is bad that people just immediately go for the life ruining assumption. I agree on that. That's common sense. However,
Keep positive.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Yeah. I just want to say, so Chuuli points out, right, that people just go to the life ruining. I do not hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you are engaging in these behaviors in a public space, you deserve to be the recipient of public ire, right? If you are consuming lolicon or zoophilic art or necrophilic art, right?
Right.
You are going to be the recipient of bullying. The reasoning behind it is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh well. The reasoning does not matter, full stop. No one's going to sit there and go analyze you. Were you touched as a child? Yeah? Oh, my bad, dude. Sorry about that. I will go ahead. I will pause the brigade on your posts right now. I will
Yeah.
call off the dogs. No one fucking cares, dude. You're trying to fuck kids and dogs. Okay?
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. We carry on. We click play. We go.
Pertinent, I guess, element here is that just off of how the conversation went, it really did sound like you were saying, hey, no, these people are into this because they were groomed into this. Would that be a fair
I don't believe
thing?
that's like yeah, definitely. I was like I said, I was way too vague about my actual points, and it came off way too definitive with my examples.
Again, vague and definitive again. Once again, you can't. You can't. Stop. No, you weren't vague with your points. You made your points and then realized it was stupid, and you're trying to shift the goalpost. Just take the fucking L, dude. That's why it's annoying. Just take the L, dude. Ugh. Even in your DM, she had ample time to build up on her words. It wasn't in a live setting. She had time to sit down and think about what she was going to say and respond with it.
Right.
And even then, she still had these vague takes with definitive points. It's stupid. Just take the L. You're wrong. Move on. It's crazy. It's actually fucking crazy that people are still on this. Fuck. Yeah, no, I understand why people are on this, though, to be fair. But it's like, people are only on this because she keeps going. This is a stupid interview, right? And Slug has some dumb moments. I will give him that. You know, like I will say I've heard the school shooter comparison. That was kind of bleak. But
If a guy with a gun.
yeah, I mean, was it funny as fuck? Yeah.
Sure.
But no, that was also just fucking stupid. But yeah. Anyways, let's keep it going. Let's see if she continues to dig a hole deeper. Let's see it.
Like, instead of me saying, hey, there's not enough to go off of here, and like there's this shit is so complicated that you can't just assume the worst based off of like what little shit we have here. I tried to give examples to be like, these are other possibilities, but it sounded more like this is what happens, like all the time. And like, I don't believe that that's what happens all the time. I just know that there are other examples of what could potentially be happening. And the fact that we don't know which one was my point, to be like, hey, there's all these possibilities here. We don't have enough to go off of. So like, go with that. And like, you immediately assuming that like that makes him like an active child predator is way too
I'm sorry, Chuuli, but if someone says that they like lolicon, okay, dude, and they're getting if this is what happened and someone's saying that they are getting defensive because, you know, they saw someone say all lolicons are pedophiles, and it's like, what the fuck, do you think I'm a pedophile? Most people are just gonna go, yeah, if they're consistent.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's weird that you like little girl kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Look, you could say, yeah, I know kids don't deserve to be groomed, but obviously having that level of attraction is something, it's like, well, yeah, no, that's just fucking gross. It's fucking disgusting.
Right.
Why are we even... This is dumb because there's not enough to go off of. Dog, if that's what happened, I could fully understand why they wouldn't even want to talk to the person if that's how they already feel about lolicons in the first place. Okay.
And we have a chatter, Oreo Cookie Crumble, makes a bit of a salient point and says, to kind of sum it up, that Chuuli, while Chuuli is technically referring to children, right? Um, uh, although in this interview so far has not explicitly mentioned children,
Right.
it's a very we're presuming she is referring to children, right? Even
Yes.
still, in general, when we are referring to the worst of the worst things like lolicon, zoophilia, necrophilia, we have this automatic knee-jerk reaction to a sort of hateful response, right? And we have these responses because we as human beings consider them to be the worst of the worst, right? You
Yep.
want to touch kids, like, we have this innate human response to, generally speaking, I'm again speaking in generalizations, to want to protect that child, to want to protect something that cannot defend itself, right? And there's something to be said about dead bodies. We're not going to get into that. But and this sacredness of life and defending that which cannot defend itself, animals, young children, whatever. And so when you have kids, right, who want to harm other children, like child on child sexual assault,
Right.
um, our knee jerk reaction is, what do we do in that situation? How do we respond to that? In our, as adults, our first response is still, you know, uh, very visceral, because what's happening to that child, and to want to touch that other child, what is happening to elicit this sort of response from this older child onto this younger child, and who's taught this child, there's so many factors in this, but it's
Yeah.
still a very visceral and very almost evil response that comes from within us, and it's not necessarily a sapient response, it's a very lizard brain response. And so I thank you for pressing me on that, Oreo. That you make a very, very salient, but it's still, it's still lizard brain versus.
Yeah. I want to address a chatter real quick because I don't want to do any of
Yeah.
these insinuations. Julie should
Mhm.
just put herself in a registry since she wants to defend lolicon so bad. Probably got more skeletons in her closet than a graveyard. We're not doing that. We're not. Look, This is very clear. Like I said, this is very clearly an L take. All right, through her own personal perception of how she
Right.
sees the world. I'm not going to insinuate that she likes something. Okay, like that is freaky. We're not doing that. Okay, we're not. Relax a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I get being pissed. I understand that this take could be infuriating, but we're not doing that. Okay.
Yeah, please don't insinuate that she belongs on a registry. That'll fly with me either. She can have bad takes all she likes, and she can be wrong all she likes. But no, I don't think that Chuuli belongs on a registry. Just to be very, very clear.
Yes. Now, all right. Let's only 6 minutes in. You know where that's actually farther. You know, I didn't expect to listen to Slug's voice this much, so let's keep going.
Yeah. Sorry. Yep.
All good.
What's it called? Way too jumping the gun.
So what has been the entire, I guess, evidence involving the RCV7, if I'm correct? Or is it RC5?
RCV5,
I
you
think it's
fuck.
RCV5.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
right.
RCV5.
Get fuck, Slug.
So what
Sorry, that's just petty. Sorry.
was outside of that? So
Slug knows I don't hate him.
RCV5 is accused of grooming, and Safi's the one that made the accusation. And RCV5 basically admits they were into lolicon at one point.
Safi didn't run with the accusations. She was just like very intimately aware of like the fact that stuff was going on, and I think she helped spread them. But the person who made the accusations public in the first place was Habit.
So outside of that, were there anything else? Because I have like a bunch of like Cliff's notes. I don't have really like in-depth notes. Kind of like
TLDR, there was like nothing. There was no like actual evidence of everything. So where my brain went then was like, I want to pick your reasoning as to like why, with how much like nothing there was, with how little
Oh
you
my
had
gosh,
to go
I'm
off
so
of.
sorry. I got kicked from
Like
Discord.
why you still
What's up, little bro?
I got kicked from Discord. Was it like my internet freaked out? I'm okay now. We're good. Go ahead.
Oh,
I heard everything though.
women can't be normal for 2 seconds, guys. Fuck me.
No, I can't.
Ugh.
Die now about it.
Yeah, cope harder. Yeah, it keeps going. Yeah, so far it's just giving context of the RCV's 5 stuff. I did talk about this a lot in the beginning. But yes, like I said, the main problem about the RCV5 stuff as well, the accuser has just lied about crucial details, but they've deleted all the evidence due to a traumatic response. So that's just gone. And and they don't have their account anymore on Twitter. And I guess I think it was like deleted or taken down, suspended, whatever, XYZ. And RCV lost his password. So convenient. There's no way to access the Twitter DMs. So it's one of those. However, I'm not going to press allegations with no evidence. And especially if the person pressing it has lied about crucial details, I am going to enter that scene with a lot more skepticism than the average thing. So it's like
skepticism. Oh my god, please say skepticism.
Sorry,
People kill you.
I'm from New Jersey. It happens. But anyways, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But yeah, anyways, dude. Fuck me. Isn't Chuuli like 24? 23, I think? I don't remember. Thank you for the 5. Gonna go because this pisses me off so badly. And I don't want my chip to hear another rant about Chuuli, but here's $5 for your troubles. Thanks, Hex, but you should come back and watch the VOD when it's done. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm just being a dick. I won.
thought that it would make sense to forward, or at least help forward these claims.
All right. And then if we were to kind of go forward a little bit more, there was your community tab post, which I'm going to be honest, it bounced everywhere. It felt like you were panicking through it.
I wouldn't say necessarily that I was panicking. I was just trying to be very thorough because I realized like, oh shit, like I wasn't as thorough in my reasoning from before, because like I feel like if I was panicking, I would have just done it the day after. But I was like,
Okay, I'm sorry to do you like this, Julie, but I just have to.
Are you sorry though?
Yeah, a little bit, but here's the thing, guys. That community post was made very shortly after Himpleton's stream. It was just scheduled for the next day. Okay, she didn't think about it for a whole night, sleep on it, and then write it. She wrote it immediately in response and just scheduled it for the next day. So that was an immediate response. I don't know why she's pretending like it's not here. That was an impulsive response. That's bleak. Okay. sorry, I just couldn't
We're sorry. We're sorry.
Okay, fuck off. I don't know. I just couldn't sit with something so objectively wrong and just let it slide by, okay? Like that was just a lie. But whatever. We'll continue.
yeah, I'll explain like more what I actually think, and like the fact that I don't think these things are okay.
Yes, I'm aware that's called a lie, Ivy. Yes, that's why I called it out when I saw it. Not too proud of it, but whatever. Yeah, we'll keep going though. Hopefully there's not more like that. Anyways.
But like there's obvious
Alright.
differences in severity.
So kind of to loop back, because I'm the kind of person that always loves to bounce around because it kind of keeps everything fresh. Kind of to
Mhm.
bounce back a little bit.
Bounce back to what?
You're saying that you 100% were not condemning Ace's comment about
Okay.
people realistically are going to assume that person's a pedophile if they're into lolicon. You are 100% saying that you were not condemning it?
I'm saying what I believe, and in the community post I said, I agree with him, but I also think that it's a problem that people run with the worst interpretation.
Is that true? I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit since I've seen her community post, and I kind of just skimmed by it. I only care about my name because I'm an attention whore. Hold on, let me.
Oh my god, no way.
Lol.
No way, no way, no way.
Where's my name? Gulps.
Just Control F.
I don't feel like it. Ugh,
Oh
women.
my god, oh my god, you're just as bad as Fauci not knowing how to keybind.
Okay. As you guys saw, Ace brought up to me that Safi's read is the average and or most common read that people will have. I agree with this. I also agree when I said I think that's a problem. I don't believe minors should be crucified for getting roped into a paraphilic art when they were younger teens. That was never the argument. That's kind of bleak. We're not crucifying little kiddos, okay? But whatever.
No one is crucifying like small children. I want to. This is not 28 years later. We're not doing that. And again, I want to point out that like Tiger in chat, right, is the perfect example of exactly what I was saying to Chuuli in DMs. The court of public opinion will take the worst interpretation possible, right?
Yeah.
And go, well, this is Chuuli now. So I warned Chuuli about this. Chuuli did not take my words into consideration. And now look at them.
Okay, buddy, calm down, dude. You're way too happy. But you know, guys, just to be very fair, right? Yes, I am aware that I have Monstrous on because obviously I wanted to give her a fair shake because people have talked about this and she hasn't been
much.
on. Yeah, whatever.
I appreciate it.
Whatever.
No,
buddy.
thank you, Ace. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you.
But
everyone will use my content, but no one will ask to talk to me. I guess I'm just that scary, Ace. Not you. You're not scared of me, Ace.
Yeah, I don't really fear women. But anyways, to build off of that, though,
male feminism.
As much as Monstrous is welcome on here, obviously, I would not be opposed if Chuuli wanted to explain herself either. Right? I'm being very fair. Now, I will say it probably would just be easier if she was to come on, we all three would be here and whatever.
Sure.
But yes, she's not. I'm not saying she's not welcome to join this discussion if she wanted to. Okay? She is very more than welcome to come and join. I have just not been requested by her to join. But just know, just because I have monstrous on here doesn't mean that she's not welcome for this. She could obviously talk and expand on herself, right? Want to make that very clear. But yes. So, let's continue. Fuck.
So let's say that let's say we go with the not worst interpretation that the sometimes, and I'm being charitable here just to kind of give your side a little bit more, I guess, ammo to work with. Let's say by the logic of, okay, these people were groomed into being into these things because you said that there's no logical way that these kids by themselves get sucked into these horrific things on their own. Am I correct in saying that?
I think it's less common. It's definitely possible. Things like paraphilic disorders
Yeah,
have
but
multiple origins of happening. It's not just one thing. It's an influence of neurology, of environment, of life experience.
There it
Alright,
is. The thing I
so
talked about.
Yeah, which... Dude. Yeah, she just doesn't want it. We're 10 minutes in. I don't even feel like much has really changed with her stance from like weeks ago. Does she even know what she's taking the L for? Like, okay, because it comes off like this to me. That she understands why people are upset, but it just doesn't really feel like she is either willing or doesn't fully understand why people are upset, and it's kind of bothering me. Because it's like, you can't be like, I'm taking the L, and then you just say the same thing again.
Well, and it's funny because so when I had my conversation with Chuuli, right? I knew that the conversation was aggressive, but I wound up speaking to somebody else, and when
Yeah.
that other person and I compared notes on our conversations, that other person was like, "Well, but I said the same exact thing as you," and I was like, "Well, yeah, but you probably said it much more nicely, right?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, but that's the difference, right?" Like I was significantly meaner, right? Because I matched Chili's energy.
Yeah.
And of course they're gonna like your energy more. You were nicer to them. So I'm not surprised. So in essence, me and this other person had said the exact same thing, but because I didn't kowtow, not saying that the other person did, but because I didn't kowtow to what Chuli wanted, I didn't give Chuli the answers that they wanted. I didn't speak the same language that they wanted.
Yeah.
Wasn't nice about it. Chuli agreed with both of us in essence. I just wasn't nice about it. So,
Yeah.
but we had the exact same points.
Oh, Jesus. I have you on stream once, and they made you a bunny.
Cute.
Dude.
Where is that?
That's an art tab.
Aw,
Thanks, J7. It's great stuff. Great stuff.
thank
She
you.
clearly appreciates it.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, you guys said we need a palate cleanser? No, we're going straight back into it, baby. Yeah, get fucked.
before we
And it doesn't have to be
continue,
all three at once, or it doesn't have to be, just one.
no,
It can be
I
whatever
get that.
kind of mixture.
Yeah, I get that. Now, I always got to ask, do you have qualifications in this,
Oh,
like
no.
psychology, neurology, or social work, or childcare? Do you have like
No, I'm
experience
not
in this?
certified in anything, but
Okay.
I do have experience in witnessing this thing happen.
Oh, Lord. Okay, patchwork heart.
Dude.
It's patch. Yep.
Yeah, I see groomed people. That's my profession. Dude, bro. Again, it's the Pawn Star thing again, being like, oh, I'm the expert because I went through it. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's what I got in Courtney Pete for. No, you're not an expert of it because it happened to you. All cases could be like
Right.
very different, okay? And sometimes even with grooming victims are like the worst person to tell because they either have been normalized and desensitized to it, so they can't tell again, which is why they have a higher chance of being groomed again, or they're too emotionally attached and might even take something that's not grooming and just see similar behaviors that was toxic to them and equate it to that. This is bleak. Okay? This is this is
Yeah.
bleak as fuck. No, you're not a professional. No, you don't have the experience, Julie. Okay, that's
Right.
I understand you've been through fucked up shit that you did not deserve, but no, that doesn't put you on the scale of someone with degrees. Okay?
Right.
Fuck.
Right. And you don't innately know either, by the way. The reason why I know the information that I know is because I myself had to go do digging. I mean, I've read through an insane amount of papers to have the knowledge that I do. I've done I mean, like I combed through if you're not I don't know if you know what your level of education is, but I combed through LexisNexis back when I
Right.
still had access to LexisNexis. I pulled paper after paper, read paper after paper, you know, and I took classes on how to examine research papers and how to read results from research papers, and you know, I've done projects. I've done like written projects on stuff like this. So it's hard. It's hard to decipher the language, and it's hard to understand. Uh, like all this information and to still go, yeah, this is really hard to understand. And you're like, well, fuck, the autist in me is like, I want to know more. I need definitive answer. And there is none. You
Right.
just have to throw your hands up and go, fuck. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cloudy's right, by the way. We are only 11 minutes in. This is supposed to be like a 2-hour interview. I don't think I'm going to make it, to be honest.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
we'll try to power through. We'll try to. Well, I was told that like it gets worse at like 40 minutes in, so I don't mind if we skip ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Skip ahead. Do it.
Because a lot of this, for full transparency, chat is just a lot of recaps of like things that we already know and things I've already explained. So
Right.
we're just gonna keep going.
About a
That's fine.
predator
Fine.
and ignoring people telling me about a predator, and I said, hey, where did you get this from? And she refused to answer.
Oh,
I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll move
hi,
on
monstrous.
to the next thing. And she was
Hello.
more responsive with the second question, which had to do about the clip.
What clip in specific?
Oh boy.
Because again, we gotta assume anyone that watches this call or listens to it knows nothing. They eat crayons and
Thank
they're
you,
afraid
Slug.
of light.
It was
We always
basically
gotta
the
assume
clip
it.
of me being too vague.
And do
And,
you
like,
remember
That's
the
really
sounding
direct
like I was
quote
being-
of that?
Yeah, so they're talking about fuck. They're talking about
The Doodle Tones one.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
the only thing that sucks about how Amos, put it up is it's easy to think that this came out after this one. This happened before this one.
Right.
But yes, this right. So I'll keep this up here just in case. But let's keep it going.
That vague?
No. It was like
So-
5 minutes long.
Yeah. Let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong, but could it have been the one that Amos posted on Twitter?
Yeah, probably.
Again, shout out to
Here, I'll
Amos.
send it over.
What do you mean? Yeah, probably. He's the only one posting clips. Oh my god, I'm about to do her dirty again. Fuck me.
Let's go. No. Just go. Go. We already know. Go.
Okay, hold on.
Don't crash out yet.
Hold on.
We have more to crash out about.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what? Yeah, well, I'm not gonna do her dirty. We'll just keep going. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Gulps.
Do I at least want to be fair? Fair and honest mollusk. I say as my dog is not getting any of my food right now.
Yeah,
Insane.
it was that one.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, that clip makes you look really bad.
Yeah.
Sure
And
does.
that's why I came out and clarified things.
Did you?
After the fact.
True, though. Let's kind of get back to the conversation about that you and Monstrous had. What was the whole conflict, I guess?
Mostly me wanting to learn more about like, hey, you know, what is the issue with like how I worded things? And it didn't end up being too productive. It was very basic answers, and she doesn't have to you know, she didn't have to like give a whole lecture on it, but at the same time, if you just say, well, this is wrong because
Yeah.
I did.
and then the person's
Yeah, we read it. It was pretty in depth. I don't.
Yeah.
It's pretty basic, vague.
Yeah, it's complex. So why'd you say it? Don't do that. Slap you on the nose like a dog.
Dude.
God.
Dude. That's it. This is. I'm trying to give such fairness here, but there's just multiple times that she's just doing this. This is just coming off as malice at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I don't hate her, but this is getting ridiculous to the point where it's like, you're having conversations we could all see, by the way. We could all publicly see, right?
Yeah.
And you're being malicious about it. It just, why? That's so dumb, dude. That's so dumb. There's a reason why I went over it, because I know that this was going to be in here. But, like, there's a reason why I went over the DMs before, because obviously they're publicly accessible, and yeah, I knew they're going to be brought up. So it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? This is, God, fuck me. But yeah, I'm not crashing out. Not going to crash out, guys. I'll hold on a little bit longer. Fuck me.
Gonna be like, I'm not necessarily convinced by that. I don't see where the issue is arising from.
So,
and then it got into like, she basically said, you know, like, I don't want to devote more time to this, and I said, you know, okay.
All right. So would
dude, okay, because I can't stress this enough.
You were gonna crash out,
dude. No, because it's annoying. It's annoying because even Slug said, "Hey, put this in a way, dude. Like they're fucking eating crayons. Okay, this is like grandma's watching this. We don't know what's going on." And that's your summary of the DMs?
Yeah.
Really? You just obfuscated so much intentionally. Why? You didn't even get into like what the disagreement was. You didn't even get into like what was specifically, you know, being like talked about or anything. It's just dumb. Yeah. It's just dumb. Also, thanks for the 2. Let it out, emo boy. Not yet. I'm trying not to, because again, I'm trying to be fair, but like this is dumb. I would snap at anybody else who did this. I'm trying to be fair just because I have a more personal understanding of Chuuli than most people, so I'm trying to think logically of why she would do this, and I don't want to jump to the conclusion that she's doing it out of bad reasons, but it's not coming off great. It's very bleak so far. Hold on.
Carry on. We'll carry on.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Let me read this one thing. My only interpretation is that she assumed that this tiny streamer who had no YouTube wouldn't be noticed by anyone, and this was screaming into the void. Yeah, I could see that argument because Slug doesn't have a YouTube channel, and I've heard
anymore.
Yeah, and again, this is doing her dirty, but I've heard rumblings of her just with Faugi's coverage freaking out that he went over it. So there's probably a possibility to that, given if that is true. But
I mean, you know,
yeah.
it is Faugi.
Yeah.
It is the op block. You know, I'd be freaking out.
Not just a op block, the op block.
The op block.
Dude, fuck me. Yeah. Keep it going. We'll keep it going.
This have been in like Twitter DMs or
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just like Discord.
I missed your Dono Red. Chuuli graduated at Groom University and works at Groom Donald's. Okay, fuck off. Thanks for the 5. Insane. But yeah, here we go.
Ooh. So I always, again, I'm bouncing around again. So from what I understand from the
Bro's
bits and
dribbling.
pieces and what I've looked at, the transcripts I've read, everything of that sort,
Mm-hmm.
would you believe that experience such as what you've been through and what you've seen, kind of the work you've done, be on par as a formal
Oh, no.
education would be?
Oh no. Please don't do it, Chuuli. Don't answer badly.
Not to a degree of knowledge of why things happen, or how to diagnose or whatever.
The important parts.
Yeah.
At most, I notice patterns.
You and every autist. Anyone with a modicum of fluid reasoning skills. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Pattern recognition. The absolute bare minimum.
Yeah, when I see someone get killed in an alleyway, I can pick up patterns of seeing how other people might get
I'm
killed.
not going to alleyways by myself.
That's dumb. Okay, yeah, no, maybe not the important parts of why people would go to a college, but I see things with my 2 eyes. Yes. Dude, this is stupid. Dude, why? Don't even entertain it being on the same scale. Just be like, no, I'm not in fucking class for this shit. Okay, I just have personal experiences, which is nowhere close to being on par with fucking taking a degree for it, okay? There's... Fuck. Ugh.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you in square circle, square circle, square circle? What do you? I just noticed that the next one is circle. What do you, I'm just so good at recognizing patterns, Ace.
Nope. I'm not getting rage baited. See, this is what real rage bait is. This is real rage bait.
I'm just so good at recognizing patterns, Ace. Tell me I'm so good at this.
No. We're continuing. Fuck you. Fuck.
Okay.
And I do research and I learn from people who have done formal studies on these things.
From who?
Okay.
From who? Because you clearly were not taking it from fucking...
There's no way. There's no way.
Dude, from who?
From what, the Prostasia Foundation?
Dude, I use the AI Google analysis. Yeah, because...
From the University of Patchwork Heart.
Yeah, no.
We have Chuuli.
Fuck me. Yeah, I've talked to people with degrees. Really? Really? You kind of fucking were all pompous with this one.
What fucking degrees? Fucking Mickey Mouse degrees from cereal boxes?
Yeah.
What fucking degrees? Because no one who has a degree is going to sit there and entertain a conversation like this. No one worth their weight in their education is going to sit there and entertain a conversation like this. I've done it like twice.
Yeah.
Twice. In all my years in this space, I have done it twice. And that was once when I actually filed a whole ass police report on a guy who was being weird with kids on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And wants to discuss this conversation, this whole thing with Chuuli, in a private space with my people. And that was it.
Dude.
Twice.
Okay, I gotta address you, Gilla. That's the problem. Chuli's not taking any psych courses, alright? I know you thought that, but no, she's not. Okay? That's the problem, Gilla. She's acting like an expert with no expertise. That's part of the issue, Gilla. Fuck. Dude, this is bleak. I could see why OpBlock, cut it off and just, left it. It was probably that in a mix of the overcooked gameplay, but fuck me, we're gonna...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about that. We're
gonna continue. We're gonna continue. Fuck me.
So, would it be along the same lines as someone self-diagnosing with autism by doing research based off of medical studies and off of the DSM and all that, and reading psychology books?
I don't think that yeah. I wouldn't be able to diagnose someone like that, but also
Okay.
advocating for yourself in the medical field is encouraged. It's important that you try to understand yourself as best as possible.
Okay.
You're able to identify what you're feeling, notice patterns, and say, hey, this kind of looks like this. What do you think?
That's just not what you did
And
on the
say,
stream,
hey,
though.
I suffer from these things, and based off of the formal texts that I've read, you know, these
my God, I'm
patterns
gonna
can fall
die.
in line with
Oh, I'm gonna kill
this.
myself. Oh no.
Don't
Let's,
die.
you know,
Bash
can we
my head into a
expand on
wall.
that? Can we
Don't die.
interrogate that a little bit
I
more?
know. Saint always tells me
Yeah.
homicide, not
So,
suicide.
kind of to
This guy.
bounce around
This guy.
again from because
Okay.
I finally pulled up
Block.
the DMs between you and Monstrous. One point that I really
so you did have it. Good.
found interesting, not
Good
as
boy,
a
Slug.
thing to condemn, because we all know I used to be a massive asshole when I was on YouTube. Let's be real here. Massive, scary, sluggy, I guess. But
Mhm.
No one says that, Slug.
there
I love you,
was
and I'm
an
so sorry.
interaction where it's you can disagree and look stupid. I don't care. Then let us go with God. Next time you want to tango, let's do it publicly and in the same space. Yeah,
Right, you're the
sure,
worst one.
but only if I can monetize it. Oh, I thought you cared about optics. I like money. What an odd thing to say from someone who claims to care about victims. I was raped as a teen, touched as a child, and groomed online as a teen.
Him saying that so monotonely is so evil.
I know.
Fuck me, but yeah, keep.
So I want to bring us back for just a second, right? Because Chuuli talks about, well, you know, I noticed patterns of behavior and medical advocacy and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
So the thing with someone who has the ability to diagnose, and the thing that Chuuli doesn't seem to kind of grasp here, and I'm in no way saying that you should not ever advocate for yourself if you experience certain symptoms and you're not being taken seriously. I would never ever tell anyone to not sit there and vehemently advocate for the things that they need, right? I fully believe that you should. However, the difference between someone who can diagnose versus any Joe Schmo who can fucking Google their own symptoms is the fact it's the interpretation of those symptoms, right? Because ADHD, there's a lot of commonalities with autism, right? And obviously there are some very, very big differences, right? Schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder share a lot of commonalities with some very big differences. So it really fucking frustrates me when someone sits there and engages in armchair psychology and they're like, "Hey guys, yeah, like, but just, but there's just symptoms, and I notice patterns of behavior." No, stop. Do not, please, I beg of you all, do not self-diagnose. I know that it is cost prohibitive for a lot of people. I understand that. What is self-diagnosing going to do for you?
Right.
If something is seriously impacting your life, self-diagnosis is not going to help you. Please don't do that. Please, because you do not know what is affecting your life. Please do not take this person's advice and say, yeah, I know I'm having visual and auditory hallucinations, because it could just be fucking carbon monoxide poisoning and you think you have schizophrenia. So
Yeah.
I'm begging, advocate for yourself in a medical setting, please.
No, yeah.
So
Fuck me.
and yes, the block is correct. Medical advocacy is good, but there is a fine line between advocacy and neurosis, and you do have to be very, very, very careful. Please.
Yeah.
Do just, yeah. So.
Fair enough. Let's keep it going. Me.
Yep.
You gonna exploit another victim for your monetary gain? What an interesting choice. I also experienced those things, and I don't think devoting my minutes to making money for a public discussion anyways is exploitation. Also, you're not entitled to my time and presence. Then leave. Bye. Or do you need the last word? Yeah.
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 So, I personally, I don't care, because again, giant asshole, and it would be hypocritical for me to kind of condemn anyone for that.
Okay.
Like you
From my point
know
of view,
who I am.
just being assholes to that point. Also, no, I don't really know who you are. At most, I've been told you have a tumultuous past, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Spooky.
Yep.
Yeah, don't ask Slug why he defended Mr. Sen so hard. Anyways, moves on.
Scary doxer Slug. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you were saying, because I interrupted you and I do deeply apologize.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, we just started being assholes to each other. That's how I see it.
I don't know where's towards the end.
Towards
I was doing it the whole time.
very interesting.
I assumed she was doing it the whole time.
Yeah. It just kind of like she came in like trying to be like, oh, I'm civil, and then it just did not maintain
Right.
that way. Dude, fuck me. That rare Chuuli W big leaguing on Slug. You see, that does kind of build onto the theory that she probably did just think that there was like a nobody, and it's probably why she didn't think it would spread around. If she just was only told that I heard that you had a tumultuous pass. What, did you think that he would just not be taken seriously? Did you think it wouldn't go around? Like, I'm very curious why Slug of all people, because she has been challenged by people. She's been challenged by Hempleton. She's been challenged by Amos. She's been challenged by there was other people too, but she was challenged by a handful of commentators, right? And if you set the standard of if Ephraim doesn't come on my stream, you're running. But if these people challenge you, right, and you're not coming on, you just kind of look like a hypocritical pussy because you put yourself in that standard. It's a little bleak, so it's interesting to me. It's interesting that she accepted Slug, but not anybody else, I guess, if she was going to do this.
You mean like this stream here when you offered her a space?
Yeah.
She's not here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
I want to make sure that this is our equivalent, or rather your equivalent of this. So.
Yeah, no, she's very welcome to come on and explain herself. I would not be hostile. I would be trying to be like, hey, what's going on here? You're framing things pretty disingenuously, and I'm very curious as to why. That's very interesting. But yeah.
Okay.
But fuck me. Yeah.
Preferably before I leave, by the way, because I do have work tomorrow. I do wake up early for work.
Yeah.
So
I have a sneaking suspicion that she's probably watching, but
that's okay.
I've politely invited her on, and I'm not going to be more annoying than that. But she is more than welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wait, Hippie invited her on stream? Yes, Leia. He did. He invited her, I think, when going over the second Amos clip. So yeah. And I'm pretty sure Amos has literally tagged Chuuli multiple times being like, hey, want to talk? So yeah, people have asked her. She just hasn't accepted. But it is what it is. If she accepts it, she accepts it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But we'll just keep going through this.
So you genuinely did not want to monetize it?
I don't see the issue with monetizing a public fight about God knows what.
God knows what. You know what you're arguing
God
about.
No worries.
Yeah, you know what you're arguing about.
We don't know what we were arguing about. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I thought her point of contention was that she wanted me to explain something to her. What is this God knows what?
Yeah, this is dumb. Dude. Whatever.
That's fine. Yep.
So
it's like I've you know, and I've said that before, you know, like if you want to, like, if we're gonna beef publicly about God knows what, then like, yeah, I'm probably gonna talk about it on my fucking channel. And she's had people in her debate server stream debates that they have with other people.
I don't know that I'd call Thunderdome a debate server.
I can't tell if she's talking about Thunderdome or Guac Barrel, though, right? Like it.
Well, Guac Barrel's not even a debate server. It's just a bunch of goofy guys hanging out.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Being fucking weirdos. No, I was gonna gonna say much meaner things about us, but I don't want to get you flagged.
Fuck.
I know. Sorry. No. But I mean, in the previous iteration of Thunderdome, right? That's where they had Thunderdome was a kind of a bit of touch of the tism and a touch of the blood sports.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I have had streamers stream their monetized, or rather use Thunderdome to stream their monetized streams on it for calls and whatnot. But I never myself have never personally profited off of those streams, and I don't care to. It's just for funsies. But that being said, Chuuli and I do share a server together. There was I guess, sort of attempt, right, to publicly beef at one point.
Mm.
I say sort of, right, because that's kind of in quotes. In the Op Block in Opera House, and but we were tossed into, what is it, Salty Spittoon,
Right.
which is their little, autistic spur containment channel. And unfortunately, something else happened with one of Lia's chatters, and that kind of took away from the opportunity for us to talk. Thanks to State of Salt's
Yeah.
quick intervention, so to speak. So nothing
Yeah.
wound up happening at the time.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be sequestered, but yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Something
No.
might have worked.
And to be honest, I don't even care if Thunderdome, like it's blood sports. That's kind of the whole point.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
not the same. It's whatever. This is dumb.
Right.
Dumb comparison.
Mhm.
Fuck me.
And make money off of it.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like her, it's obviously terrible
It's obviously terrible.
what she went through. It's terrible that
Okay.
anyone goes through that.
Okay.
Her, myself, anyone who
Okay.
does. It also bears no relevance
Mhm.
to the argument, unless it does, in which case that was not even just described. There was no.
The irony is kind of insane here.
Right. It is, right? Okay. Glad we're on the same page about that.
Yeah, so this is ironic because you can't be. The whole reason why you're in hot water with your take is because of your personal experience of what happened to you. So if you're going to say that the personal experience bears no relevance to the conversation, then you can't say I see patterns. You can't say
Right.
I have experience through this going through. No, that's dumb. You actually KO'd your own argument by just continuing to yap.
Right,
What are you
God
doing?
knows why.
Yeah, God
Right,
knows
God
what.
knows-
Yeah.
God knows why.
Dude.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Great. What an insane statement to have. I agree.
Dude, fuck me. But yeah, let's keep it going. We're not even halfway through it. You see, I know like people are like, oh, I want to watch the whole call. I want to watch the whole call. I'll see. Low key though, if Monstrous sleeps, I'll probably thug out a little bit more. But I want to at least have.
I'll get a little more.
I want to keep Monstrous on for at least when they're talking about her. I think that would be fair. But yeah, let's keep it going. Fuck me.
No prerequisite of like, hey, let's argue about, our own victimization.
All right.
And I was
And-
like that.
Sorry.
I was honestly
Okay.
kind of just like
Okay.
not stunned, but I was very like confused when she brought that up because I was like, that has nothing to do
Oh, the
with
irony.
wanting to argue with me about God knows what.
God knows what. Dude, stop.
God knows what.
Because what was the argument about? Like, if you
Thanks,
can,
Slug.
because
Actual good
let's be
question.
real. I know you didn't wipe those DMs because in this space, no one wipes DMs unless they're trying.
Okay, don't be retarded. Come on, please. Just lock in, Slug. No one wipes DMs.
Mhm.
to
Keep
hide
going.
something.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
to the best of your ability, can you explain
Just read the
what
DMs.
happened during that argument and like where you were coming from and how you perceived the other side?
I was just looking for more knowledge mostly, and then when I didn't
Right.
really
I had
get
knowledge.
much of it, and I didn't really feel like my perspective was being listened to.
That's the
I already
killer.
know yeah, I already knew it.
That's the killer right there, though. That's if anyone was ever confused on whether or not what her intentions were, she only went into Monstrous's DMs just so her perspective could be listened to, or her perspective could be validated. She literally just admitted it right here. That's the smoking gun for that one, dude.
Which is
Chuuli.
insane, by the way.
No, it
That's
is.
an insane thing to do.
Yeah.
Why you need the validation of some fucking shit talker is insane. Just
Dude.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
I gotta tell you guys, when she says, "Hi, could I message you some questions I have regarding some of the comments you've made, not even just about today, because I know you have a psych degree, but I also feel like you're missing some caveats I was making in the stream clip." Alright, she's not coming in here in good faith. She's not coming in here to understand. Alright, she's essentially doing the Steven Crowder change my mind, but obviously their mind's not going to be changed. Like, that is unironically what she's doing. She's trying to get validation for her thought process with someone with a psych degree, just so that she could be like, see, someone with psych degrees agrees with me. You guys are just hating for no reason. That's how it really rubs off to me. But objectively, she just said that her side was not being understood. That's painful. That's really painful, man. Dude. Yeah, people should only fight for my validation. That's what matters. Falky, fuck off, dude.
Only if you're in a maid outfit, Algie.
Don't challenge him. He did a femboy one, okay? This guy will do anything.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying to like coerce him into doing it again. Yeah.
Fuck me. But yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
She didn't just said like I don't. She in more words she said I don't want to devote time to this. And I was like okay.
Okay.
I was ready for that to be the end, and then she came back and said, "But if you ever want to fight me about something again, then we'll do it publicly." So I was like, I mean, okay, like if I can make some money off of that, I don't care.
Can I bring up a point here?
Sure.
Can I bring up a point? Okay. Sorry, I keep forgetting to bring up this point, right? So I made a point to bring up the fact that if she wanted to have a conversation in public, right? Because I know that I believe it was in A Space actually. Julie was kind of crashing out a little bit, and specifically, actually, she was calling me a hoe, I believe. But kind of the weird kind of French phonetic spelling. I think it was like HEAUW, right? She didn't appreciate what I was saying about it. I know she was name searching herself in Opera House when I was kind of undressing her arguments, and I know that. That my boyfriend was very upset by these, was very pissed off by these arguments. It was kind of having a crash out about this. He was furious actually about these comments being made specifically about me because there was no need, right, to specifically refer to me that way. I mean, you can dislike me, you can be condescending towards me, but to refer to me that way in a space where I can't see you, when my comments specifically were being made in a place where she could see my comments.
Yes.
And I knew she could see my comments. And I knew that she would look for comments that were being made about her, right? But I couldn't see hers. Was kind of some bullshit, right? So,
yep. It's pussyfooting. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I 100% agree that that's dumb. But yeah, before I keep going, thanks Gilla for the 5. Steven Crowder, if he was Doodle Tones, change my diaper. Okay, buddy, calm down, buddy. Dude. Anyways, Yeah, I just want to acknowledge the 5 because the guy's broke, so I have to like make him feel special. But yeah. Anyways, continuing on. Fuck me, here we go.
Yep.
Because like I probably wouldn't want to even fight someone privately unless I felt it was worth it.
That's fucking rich, dude. Okay, look.
Yeah.
I'm doing her dirty again, but
Yeah.
you literally beefed with Cat Slayer mods behind the scenes for like a week, dude. Okay?
Right.
That's... Come on. You avoided Monstrous, but you beefed with... Fuck me. Hidden, Asuka, and Junkfish. And I'm not making that public. She kind of did air that out on my Morgan stream, that she was having fights with Cat Slayer mods about like how the stuff was going. So it's like you were fully willing to engage with these people, having arguments, but you strategically avoided Monstrous until someone had to tell you to go talk to them. It's
Right.
It's just bitch made. Like the
And then what about it in the worst way possible?
Yeah.
After you were told not to do that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is really going to be doing her dirty.
Yeah.
After one of the streams, I know. I'm not enjoying this either, but she's just being disingenuous.
Right.
But after one of the streams, she added Lio to a GC with me, Yen, and her. And the dude was on his fucking bed, bro. And she was ranting about his mods to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really give much input other than, I guess I can understand how that could annoy somebody. Giving comments like that. But I was like, I even like chimed in being like, hey, for the record, Lio, I don't think you need to do anything about this. Then she pipes up and is like, actually, I think you do. All right? I don't think Ephraim should be mod, right? I don't think that these people should be flapping their mouth, all right? I think you need to do something about this. And that's cucked. Okay, I think it's stupid. I think if you're going to be this bad bitch, you should stand on your own legs. You shouldn't be running the fucking Lio convoy to deal with your problems for you. And I thought that was cringe as fuck. To be like, do something about it. She fully expected him to do something about it. And personally, right, I don't want to rope Lio into this either. There's a reason why I didn't ask him to come on for this or whatever. I talked to him about it sometimes. But I don't want Lio to deal with my interpersonal squabbles with people. That's stupid.
Of course.
That's dumb as fuck. But I will acknowledge that Chuuli did 100% do that. So not only did she engage with private fights with these Cat Slayer mods, she demanded Lio to do something for her. And I don't think that's fair at all. I think that's stupid.
Right.
And she got mad
Right.
that Lio didn't do much. And I think that that's also stupid.
Well, and to add to that, right? So when everything was kind of when everything was kind of falling apart around her, I believe it was I think on her, I can't remember if it was a community post or an announcement or whatever. A bunch of guac people, went to go comment and were kind of being little shit stirrers and talking about, are you gonna monetize this? You gonna monetize this? Yeah, you gonna monetize this too, Chuuli? And she deleted every single one or she had every single post except for one. I think it was Drunkles, and tried to pull the tough bitch act, and but behind the scenes she was super upset about the situation. She was so upset that Guac Barrel of all people would have the audacity. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you, sweetheart. Saint pointed out it was her jar community post. That she had the audacity, that Guac Barrel in general had the audacity to go nudge at her for wanting to monetize, another video. And it was like, wow, us, the OGs from Senate, we would have the audacity to go start some problems. Oh my God, how unusual of us to go do something like that. Never in my life. No.
Yeah, fuck me.
So
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Fuck my life. Let's just keep going.
yeah, I got about another 10 minutes in me before I gotta hop off and
Yeah, no, for sure.
bed. So
And I don't really find fighting with people in private worth it unless I really care about that person enough
oh,
to argue with them about something, or if they do
Interesting.
something that feels especially hurtful to me.
All right.
I
And
typically just devote my time to other things.
no, I completely understand. Nowadays, it's a fucking waste of time to get into like these massive spurg offs. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Lol.
It's fucking exhausted. And trust me, I know how it feels. There are
Mhm.
people that just think they're right about everything.
Yeah, and I will say, because you know, I've addressed most of this already. This is probably the last I'm gonna say anything about, these situations. People have taken it to mean, oh, you only care about money and you don't actually care about, these sensitive situations that you bring light to.
Well, yeah, because to be very fair, right, it's going to be seen as contradictory, right? Again, because it's either creators go, oh, I only do this for the paycheck. I only do this for the money, which highly insinuates or just really paints the picture that they're only here just because it is profitable for them. Then there's the crowd who don't do this for the money, they do it out of the self righteousness of their own good heart, right? These are pulverizing opposites. There's people that will literally demonetize their videos because they're doing this either for passion or that they're doing this for the good of the people, right? Now, obviously, I don't think that Chuuli needs to demonetize her videos or something like that. But when you put these two together, right, you clash these two together, they're pulverizing opposites. And when you see a person try to claim that they do it for both reasons, it comes off contradictory at best, which is why
right.
people would have the issue.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not trying to say, because I do think, right, I obviously do think, in all fairness to Chuuli here, I do think that she does care to the extent of she doesn't want this to happen to anybody else because she's experienced it herself. I'm not going
Right.
to try to frame it like she just doesn't care at all. However, people will definitely perceive a contradiction in wording. So that's
Right.
why people are like, outraging or getting upset or whatever. This is why this is a whole argument even in Beckett's chat that happened like February when he covered it, because like that's why it was being talked about. It's very contradictory. It comes off very contradictory, which is why people take the issue. So yeah, I will just I will just lay that out. So yeah. Pay me because I want to keep the lights on. Fuck off, Algie. Fuck off. Dude, this guy's sweeping. But anyways,
He's such a bully.
true.
And that's just not true. That's just verifiably not true. There's so many instances of me devoting unpaid time to things, to these sensitive things because I care about them.
Mhm.
I've when I first found out that Susie, how she had done the victims of George Raccoon and how she was able to bring him back into the community despite the evidence and admissions of what he had done. I worked a long time. I was part of all those calls. I edited those calls for Lio, and he put them up, and I didn't see a cent.
Okay, to be fair to her, because I know like obviously some people are upset. To be fair, there's different criticisms to give for the George thing. But however, when it comes to monetization, she is right. She didn't platform it. She did all that work and effort to be in the call, but she didn't platform it to get paid for it on her own accords. That was on Lio's channel.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I think that is a good example of her doing something because she cares. to be fair to her, right? So I will give her that one. Okay. The criticism for that stuff was just she got a bit witch hunty at the people that probably didn't deserve as much energy as the actual directed parties involved. But yeah, she didn't see a cent. That is true. So I will give her that one. Okay, that is. So I won't stress on it too much, but I wanted to highlight that. Anyways, gulps.
And I was okay with that because I cared a lot about the situation. And I cared a lot about making sure that people knew what she had done. And when it came to vindicating who was now known as Christian, but who was known at the time as Liquid Ooze,
Okay.
Before we were able to get him back online back in January. That was several streams. And I didn't see a cent out of that.
Yeah, I understand, Saint, that the voice sounds performative. I'm going to be honest. She just sometimes talks like this. Not trying to sweep. But some people do that. I know it comes off 1 HP voice, though. I know it does. But to focus...
Hold on. No, shut up. There's more monstrous art. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, I'll continue my
Sorry.
point in a second. Come on one stream and you get all this fucking art. Fuck you, dude.
I am so popular. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Nice stuff. But yeah, I will give her that too, right? With Liquid, right? I covered on my platform, right? I did so I did Sparrow on my platform. She came therefore to also help. I did Liquid Ooze. A few people came on that one, and I covered Fractured Light. Now, this is like 2.5 hours. This is 7 hours, and this is 5 hours. So this is roughly let's just say I can't math right now. 12 plus, we'll just say 14 hours. It's technically close to 15. This is 15 hours she dedicated into helping this, and yeah, she didn't see a penny to it. I think that is fair to highlight as an example too. It's just her DMs. It's just how she comes off and presents it in her DMs, which is why people are giving her problems. But I will give her those two, George Raccoon and Liquid, that she did help with those. Now you could argue about intentions all day that you want, but when it comes to money, that definitely would not be the intention. I could probably say for those two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. Wait, hold on. You forgot Killy made fan art for Monstrous? Is this true?
There's 3 pieces that were posted.
Oh.
2 from J7 and 1 from
nice.
Keely.
Yeah, you guys are doing cool. Yeah, because
It's wonderful to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did see the bunny, but yeah, this is all pretty cool, guys. W support. But yeah, okay. But yeah, no. To also answer the question, no, she did not ask for a cent. She did not ask for payment. When I did it, right? No, because the second part of my message also, she is getting clout. She is name and brand recognition. She is getting alliances. I mean, if that's yeah, who saved? Hold on before I read Falgus. Yeah, I mean, you could probably make the argument of connections, but I'm focusing on the fact that she's not doing that for money because that is what the argument and point of contention is here, right? But you could argue other intentions if you want to, and I won't stop that. But yeah, gulps. Yeah, who saved that stream, Ace? Tell the chat who saved this Liquid stream. I know you saw my message. Falgi, look, I gave you you are a collaborator on that stream, okay? Just relish in that, okay? Calm down, buddy. All right, I'm gonna go over a little bit more. How much longer do you think you could spare, Monstrous?
You got 3 more minutes out of me before I gotta hop off. I wake up at 5:30 every morning, so.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll squeeze as much as I can. Gulps.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, but
money is, it's a factor. It's not the factor.
So what would be the factor? Like, let's say, gun to your head, you need to tell me what the factor is, or
what the
you die, or I give your dog to PETA.
What the fuck kind of weird?
Whether or not I care to engage.
Could you elaborate on that?
Okay.
If someone disagrees with me on something,
Okay.
and I don't necessarily feel the need to engage all the time, and I can go back and forth on that.
So it's selective. Okay.
And I can ready myself because I can tell that I'm feeling a need to engage.
Okay.
But then I can ultimately decide that I don't want to engage.
Okay.
Is she gonna go Super Saiyan 2?
Hopefully not.
But when it comes to things like these predation cases and finding out the things that I had in situations like what happened with Susie or what happened with Christian, I absolutely cared. Because one of them had brought back a child abuser, a sexual child abuser, back into a community with the people that he abused as children, and where there were other children.
Peter Griffin going,
and
"Oh
the
my
other
god, who the
was
hell cares?"
Well, actually, I care. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Doodletone's
Actually,
bad.
I know.
Doodletone's bad. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
not sweeping for Doodletones like monsters here. Just because it's a fellow
Mhm.
woman being attacked, she wants to sweep.
No,
Whatever.
I don't care about doodle tones either. I've always hated doodle tones. I've never liked doodle tones.
Sigh.
Ever.
Lack of nuanstress. But yeah.
Nuances. I'm allergic to that fucking word. And so I am more allergic to that word than this entire fucking community. In fact, I want that word to be treated like a fucking slur in this community because everyone uses it incorrectly. But the
Ooh.
nuance. Shut the fuck up. The nuance. Okay, well.
Bro hates nuance. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna continue.
Go on.
Fuck.
had his life ruined with no proper evidence that could be produced.
Reduced to what?
And
Okay.
those things matter to
This
me.
fucking anime voice is killing me, dude.
Let's say that.
Christ, just call me a slur.
Let's say it's
Well,
true
Fuck.
that, because from what I understand, the 17-year-old was into lolicon, correct?
Okay, we're back to RCV. That was a jump. Okay.
No. The 17-year-old had talked about how he had once liked it at an earlier age.
All right.
Okay, again, he denies this. Okay, that's in the land that Habit said. RCV denies that. I can't be clear enough, bro. This is stupid. Whatever. Fuck me.
So, because from what everything was going on, is it fair to say that the way you worded it, because we're going to be honest here, not everyone's reading the community post. They need to. I agree they need to.
No, they don't. It's a
It got
fucking
more
Tolkien
attention.
post.
Yeah.
Fucking threw words at a wall and hope for the best. Okay? If you have to substitute numbers for letters in the very hopes that your shit isn't going to get fucking rocked by the algorithm, then maybe, just maybe, this isn't a topic that your audience should be discussing openly. Okay? Or maybe you just don't have a strong enough audience to have that discussion. There are plenty of people I'm thinking, like, I can think about that
Yeah.
was fucking Nexpo, Rotten Mango, who discuss difficult topics like this all the time. And I have no problem finding their shit on my front page, right? Or
Right.
have, whatever.
Right.
So why the fuck are you censoring the word paraphilia on your fucking community post? This is so fucking gay, dude. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm the touched. I'm the groomed. Fucking P4R4 PH exclamation. Oh my fucking god! Just
I'm wondering, was it?
fucking call me slurs, dude. I beg you.
Could you?
Jesus Christ.
Not to sound like I'm sweeping, but could you like report
And
community
grapes.
posts?
I'm so tired. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But the grape emoji. I'm gonna
I
fucking
know.
kill. I'm just
I
gonna kill
know.
myself.
Dude.
That's so stupid. Like this is this is this is the price you pay for touching on these topics, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is just the price that you pay. This is also why I'm not a content creator, right? Because I could never. I could
Right.
fucking never.
No, I get that.
Right.
100%.
So you can't monetize community posts. Okay, I didn't know that. This is why I'm not. This is also why I'm not a content creator. Either way, go on fucking, I don't know, open up a Wattpad, right? Or fucking and type your fucking community posts on Substack or Wattpad or some fucking whatever bullshit. I don't know. Zenga's still around. Open up a fucking Zenga.
Dude.
Link your fucking shit on there. It's just, I find that shit so offensive that you can sit there with your full chest and talk about how fucked up this shit is. Talk about your terrible hot takes, double down, triple down, quadruple down, and then go, hey guys, we're gonna talk about a difficult topic today, and I just need you to know that I can't actually use the fucking words. Oh god, just
Yeah.
I just fucking live, laugh, lobotomize me. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you to Red for the 2 trigger warnings or for the touched. Nice one. Okay. But you can report them even censored this way. In fact, you can make a stronger case for them being reported for trying to hide intent and reach a certain demographic. See, to be honest, I didn't even know that, Saint. I didn't know that you could report it even if it was censored. I mean, fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, sounds about white.
Okay. Fuck.
Sorry. I gotta hop out. I gotta go to bed.
Okay, buddy.
I gotta get up at 5:30. So, you know what? Thanks for having me, Ace.
No worries,
Thank you. I'm so glad you
monstrous.
reached out to have a chat with me. You're the best, Ace. Everyone, round of applause for Ace here. What a great rage baiter you are. I felt rage baited this entire interview.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you. You're so wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, chat, for having me. All 169 of you. What a great number to settle on. So have a wonderful night.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, monstrous.
Bye. You too, Ace.
Alright, now I gotta take away her character so no one gets confused. Okay, we're gonna power through a little bit more of this, but I'm not gonna lie, I know people wanted to see the whole thing, but this is bleak. I don't know, I feel like the picture is definitely painted. I feel like I'm trying to be fair and try to say that she's not doing it with malintent, but it is coming off disingenuous with some things. And whether that's out of malicious intent or paranoia, I'm not sure, but it is kind of tedious to see stuff like that. Again, I don't hate Chuuli. Genuinely, I think she just needs to take a week break, maybe. This content clearly is not the best for her, and this is very bleak, to say the least, because it went from just a bad take to just, well, fuck, right? Doubling down and just mischaracterizing things. It's kind of touched, but we'll keep it going, okay? We'll keep it going.
The video, the stream, at least in terms of comment and engagement.
Well, that's always negligible because there are other avenues, especially in this community. Because in this community, clips go further.
She's gonna hate you after you're done here, lol. Well, I mean, like I've said in the beginning of the stream, our friendship has always recognized the fact that if one of us fucks up, especially with how interpersonally close we are, it is more than fair to call the other out. In fact, yeah, She understood that, and I said it would be fair even if it happened the other way around. That is how we do this. That is how like this space goes. And I think that it's fine to be critical of friends publicly, personally, especially if they're doing something dumb. Obviously, I would not run and give unfair critiques to Chuuli, but that I will give critiques to things that she's done publicly and just objectively, right? So it's like, yeah, she understood that, obviously. Like I said, everything I've said about her here, I've already said to her face, right? So realistically, I don't think that that should happen. I would be a little disappointed if it did, but hopefully she doesn't do that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we'll just keep it going.
Streams through like commentary avenues go further, and it's not always going to be the direct stream that is the talking point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems more along the lines that the reaction to all of this, of saying that kids being groomed into paraphilias or having self-destructive coping mechanisms with sexually immoral art, is a avenue that predators may use to defend themselves. What do you say about that?
I mean, in the community post, I say that,
Yeah.
adults who engage with that, or even older teens in a lot of these situations, that's a bigger problem because they're older. They have more cognition than, say, a 13 to 15-year-old.
Yet the older teen, while at 17, admits that they were into that material at a younger age. So,
And that they stopped it.
yeah.
There's not enough to go off of there.
No,
Well, I don't know, like, can you really stop being into something that you were groomed into being into? I don't think that that's how that works, right? Like, if you have an attraction, I mean, yeah, admittedly, I obviously don't have a degree in this, right? But, like, if you were hypothetically into something, right? Obviously, it can't just be like a turn off button, right? Where you just go, I don't want to be into this shit anymore, right? Like, I imagine it's a lot more complex than that. Like, maybe you don't engage in it, but, like, I don't think the attraction just fades, right? I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm willing to be corrected on that, but, like, that just doesn't sound right to me.
Completely agree. But do you see where people can argue that any pedophile can pop up and say, but I was groomed into it?
Yeah, and that's why I said that I don't have empathy for the adults who engage in paraphilias.
All right. Because wanting to make that kind of easier. Now, involving the claim of, because again, I'm coming in as unbiased as possible, neutral third party, or even fifth.
All right, I'm seeing people saying you have to go to therapy and it's a long process. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not an on and off button. Yeah. That's kind of like what I figured. But yeah, we'll keep going.
Party at this point. Would the claim of you being an armchair psychologist be fair, given how you are not formally qualified or even really qualified to speak on these topics in a way that
that's a decent question,
kind of gives off the impression that you are qualified?
No, because I'm not diagnosing people.
Well, you
I don't think I'm an armchair psychologist.
You don't
I'm not
need
trying to diagnose
diagnose
anyone. I just, spread the knowledge of,
spread what knowledge?
Pattern recognition and formal research. And I say, hey, this happens.
I am actually quite curious what the research is, because I feel like the sources are being pretty vague. I think I'd be a lot more interested to see what specific sites she's referring to. Maybe in the past she's referred to it. I imagine there's some of Chuuli's audience here. Has there ever been a case where Chuuli has talked about this stuff and sourced the research that she was talking about. Because I would be curious, because she keeps referring to this research a lot, but being pretty vague about it.
I don't think you need to be certified in a field to have done research and say, hey, these are what, the experts say happens. And, this is
So,
pattern recognition. Because
so
I don't claim to be certified in these situations. I just point out the patterns that I've both learned to see myself as well as I've read like formal research on.
all right. So, kind of to see. Oh, sorry. I'm old. Need to crack my back. I am so sorry.
Leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, boomer slug. But kind of to expand on that, because you're saying that you don't need to be formally qualified to speak on these topics. Now, the qualification is not
To an
only.
extent.
Well, yeah, I think you could recognize, to be fair to Chuuli, I think you could recognize a grooming case as grooming without a degree, but if you're going to go into nuances as like therapeutic porn, right, I think that there's needs to be a little bit more of a leg to stand on if you're going to like talk about something like that. Because again, it's such a niche issue with very little knowledge on it, like, from people in the mainline community. It's mainly an art issue, to be honest. And yeah, I would rather, for something like that, I'd rather hear a psych degrees take on that versus someone who vaguely knows about it because of the niche they grew up in. I think that for that, I would think that there definitely needs to be a lot more ironed out, thorough research for that. But obviously, yes, the basic concept of seeing if someone's been groomed or not, I don't think you need a degree for that. That's pretty basic, clear cut. But yeah. Fuck. I heard the fidget cube. Yeah, I play with the fidget cube a lot.
So, when you say to an extent, are you saying only for the diagnosis part?
I'm saying for diagnosis and advice, that's not something that I can in good faith give. Mentioning the fact that something happens or that patterns have been formally documented. I feel like that's within reason.
So, let's say I am, because I'm going to use psychology just for this. Let's say I am using
Jesus.
a bunch of psychological terminology and I'm evaluating something, and I say, oh, this percentage of people are actually into big goth Latina mommies with
Slug.
giant titties because of some motherhood issues. I know, super vague. But would that still be something that, just because of research based off of clinical trials or psychological evaluations and different psychological phenomenon that I read up either on Wikipedia, psychological journals, medical journals, and other medical resources, would that make me a viable and qualified person to speak on that topic just because I did some research?
It depends on what you're speaking on.
Okay, yeah, so I think Slug asked that in a little autistic way. But yeah, the question could have been more thorough by just saying, just because you do research on the topic, does that mean you're qualified to speak on it? And to an extent, yeah, I would agree. It depends on what the topic is, because like I said, with grooming cases, you could tell that's the thing that you could tell whether or not someone was groomed or not based off of experience through looking at several cases, right? Like, because that's just like what we do in this niche, that's what we say, yada yada. We can see like the basic patterns. Now, granted, grooming is still a complicated concept, But that one, I would say that you could start to actually recognize patterns, and you could actually start to see multiple cases and actually come to conclusions easier with. But when you're going into more in-depth things that are more complex topics, like, for example, like I said, therapeutic porn, that one, you might need a bit more than just some research on Google for that one. Because that one is a very complex field to even get into. It's a very complex topic to actually get into. But fuck me. Bro. Why does everyone talk about liking Latinas? Dude. Look, I get it. Slug is a gooner, okay? Don't worry about it.
For this hypothetical, it's attraction to, I don't know, dominant, angry women.
Or rather, I should say it depends on how you're speaking on it. Because if you're just saying, hey, things happen, and this is a real documented phenomenon, I don't think that you have to be certified in order to, say, hey, these documented things happen. Trying to give advice on how to fix those, like intimate advice on how to fix those, or to try and diagnose something, can't do that. And overall, that's my point. Is that, if I can't reasonably say for certain, hey, this person, might have been, was groomed into this situation, lack of evidence and context also says you can't diagnose this person as a fucking pedophile.
All right, that's a fair.
Well, thanks for the 5. You have a doctorate? Cute. I have read 10k Reddit posts. Yeah, that is how it comes off as. It's bleak. It's bleak. But, yeah, we'll keep it playing. Fuck me.
Fair point. So, let's also say, in this situation, they're not diagnosing. They're using court of public opinion.
Okay.
They're basically saying, hey, why the fuck is someone into this? Because one moment of it and being into it like the person claimed, and it wasn't a one-off, it was a period of time, correct?
What happened?
Was the estimated alleged time of being into lolicon by the 17-year-old a period of time or a one-time?
Okay, to be very specific, Jaden Lewins, right? I will, to answer that, Chuuli is not getting shit for speaking on grooming. That's not the critique here. Okay? That's not the issue people are taking. The issue was, from the clip, is that she put a unrealistic standard onto Safi. That if you hear someone's a lolicon, you need to first consider that they could have been groomed into it, rather than just thinking that they're a disgusting freak, when that is nowhere close to the basic standard. Okay? That is not going to be the natural thought that would come to someone's mind. Because, frankly, therapeutic porn is not really going to be like a go-to thought of, oh, okay, that's why they did it. Oh, okay, that's why they're into it. And it also doesn't really take away the disgust that someone may have when finding out someone's a lolicon. So it comes off as a pointless argument for that, and also comes off as a pointless argument because RCV literally denies that even happening, with there being no evidence to say it did. So going down that rabbit hole was also just pointless. Now, that take could have probably just been a bad take and moved on from. The problem is, Chuuli has doubled down on it, and we are still here 2 weeks later, and this interview, she has been doubling down on parts that there would be issues with the take. I think the critique should just be that she should just own the L and move on. Now, I don't think that Chuuli... If I were to make the argument for Chuuli not talking about this stuff, I don't think it's because I don't think that she could tell someone was groomed per se. It's more or less that I think that she does get too much of a personal investment into this. And it's very clear to me that it's hurting her, right? And if I can recognize that someone that I'm, friends with is getting hurt by the content that she's making, right? I think that the natural thing I would recommend to her would be, hey, I think you need a breather. All right, this is clearly getting to you. You're clearly getting freaked out about this. You're clearly getting like way too emotionally driven into this and starting to make parallels with your own experiences to experiences that you find. I would recommend not touching this with a 6-foot pole because that's clearly bad for you. And I wouldn't want you to engage in practically what could be considered self-harm at that point. And that would be my argument for her not talking about this stuff. It's not an unfair standard I would uniquely give to her, but it's very clear that she's getting very hurt by the coverage. And I don't want her to hurt herself. Oh, it's about that. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was a general critique of Chuuli. That was something I did argue against in that live. That whole thing has been too vague for me to understand. Which is fair. She also just needs to stop trying to be big dog people. Yeah, that kind of does shoot her in the foot. Right? That does shoot her in the foot because if she, berates people and just kind of like kind of goes too hard on people, people are going to clap back with the same energy. That's just how people are going to operate. But yes. All right. I am going to watch a little bit more of this, but I'm going to not lie. I know people wanted to watch the whole thing, but dude, it just gets to a point where it's just looping the same things. I just feel like the conversation is looping on the same points and not much has really changed, but we'll keep it going.
Time instance.
It was never clarified.
So at that point, it still raises the question. Now I get it. Innocent until proven guilty. These are major accusations.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of looking at how you spoke about it, it seems like you were kind of just speaking as if you were qualified to kind of evaluate how these things work because of while I understand you've seen and read about this stuff, the formal education allows you to understand the nuances of it outside of the context of just a regular person or a former victim reading into these statistics and these concepts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I mean when I've said in here that my examples came off way too definitive of me saying, hey, this is, as deep as it goes and stuff. And it's not. It's much bigger than that. And I fucked up in saying that, and explaining that the way that I did.
Okay.
Because my intent was not to make a definitive judgment on what the situation was or that this is how it always works. It was just pointing out that there are documented phenomena.
So, I will acknowledge this. It seems like it did take an hour. Now, whether that's a credit to Chuuli looping or Slug just being a mid-interviewer, an hour in, it feels like we're finally getting yeah, I fucked up with this take, right? I genuinely, I was too definitive when I shouldn't have been. I'll play a little bit more, but maybe this might be a refresher.
That make this situation bigger. This not necessarily even this situation, but the type of situation. Much less black and white of just saying, hey, let's go with the obvious worst interpretation.
No, fuck me. It's kind of looping a little bit. Dude, Chuuli, it's not the worst interpretation. Because the thing is, right? Thing is, it's both scenarios engaging with the content. One was just manipulated to look into it by a creep themselves, and the other is being insinuated that they were never manipulated. They're still being into the content. It's bleak, dude, okay? Obviously, they're both going to be seen as creeps. It's not a worst way possible to see it. I am getting tired, but I'm going to play a little bit more. I don't want to miss out on anything, but let's keep it going.
So,
And I didn't word that right because I was so vague about
Okay. Vague. Well,
what
no,
my
vague but
actual
definitive
point
again.
is or
so
was.
Now we're
could
looping.
you explain why you chose to be vague? Like,
It wasn't an active choice. It was just a mistake. I wasn't being as sensitive and as thorough
Okay.
in how I was voicing my opinions on the live stream as I should have. And I said that in my community post. I said, you know, these things deserve much more sensitivity and
so I
clarification. And I said, I'm sorry to the people who believed that, I was trying to,
So-
vindicate your abusers or make excuses for them.
so
Okay.
kind of pulling up your post, you are quoted as saying, I'm not at all a fan of threat modeling and have been extremely hesitant to lead my content by that metric. Can you explain that? Because threat modeling kind of makes it easier for people to explain these situations. But could you explain your perspective on why you just don't want to use threat modeling?
I'm very hesitant when it comes to threat modeling because I've
Bro.
witnessed a lot of people take it to, in both sides. I've seen creators worry themselves sick about every single tiny misinterpretation that someone can have
Okay.
about, the way something is phrased. And I've seen audiences validate that fear. And I take that and, say, I don't want to create by that. I don't want to give my time and energy to people who are looking for something to misinterpret or who willfully
Okay.
go with the worst interpretation possible just because the clarification wasn't there.
Okay, so I guess now, if I had to think of people, I probably could. But a good question to press here, right, would be who are the people who are taking it maliciously? Who are the people being disingenuous? I think that would be a good question to press. I'm going to see if Slug does press that, though, because I'm kind of curious who Chuuli would consider as those people, because that would be interesting.
And ironically, me kind of trying to say that in the stream blew up on my face because I didn't, speak my beliefs in the way that I should have, with the clarity that I should have. And so it's not necessarily that I don't care about optics. I'm just hesitant to lead everything by how something will look.
But
to, in the worst, with the worst interpretations possible. That's essentially how I feel. I'm hesitant And I don't like leading all my content by what people who want to have the worst interpretation of it
Okay, but who?
take away from it, you know?
Please give the examples.
But you wound up having to capitulate to it.
Yeah, because I don't think that it was necessarily the worst interpretation. I mean, there is worse interpretation.
This is okay. This is why you ask who is the worst interpretation, because you're saying that you don't want to bend the needs of the people with the worst interpretation, but you ended up responding to what you consider to be the worst interpretation. So it's not adding up. All right. Also, good night, Ivy. But it's not adding up. I'm gonna give this like another minute. I'm actually like getting so like destroyed right now.
That I think are a little ridiculous that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I was able to very much understand where the confusion and where the hurt was.
So
And where mistakes were made.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of to dig through your post one more time, you are also saying situations get more and more extreme, especially with older minors victimizing younger minors or vulnerable creatures.
I'm gonna be honest, chat. I'm gonna be really blunt. We've been looking at this, right? We are an hour and 11 minutes in. Okay? Granted, I know there were some parts because I saw someone op blocks. It loops like a motherfucker. I feel like we get the idea. She misframed the monstrous DMs. She misframed me as a rage baiter. She misframed a lot of things in this, right? I think we kind of get the idea. How this comes off to me is that she probably was explaining this the way she did to Slug, because it's like what she did in Monstrous DM. She was seeking validation rather than looking for a different opinion or a different take. So that's, I think genuinely she just needs to take a break. This is a bit bleak. I don't know. If she yeah. The only point left is that she mentioned she's gonna take out her bad take from the stream. Okay, yeah, to address that too, Chuuli, don't do that if you haven't already. It just looks like you're hiding something. And it could be very framed easily like you're hiding something. Okay, don't do that. But if you already have, then whatever, I guess be transparent about it, but that's just what it looks like. Because the only time you've said that was in an interview that I don't think you really thought many people were going to say. So, yeah. I need to read the transcript sometime. I'm sorry, bro. I can't get through all this. Like, I'm tired. It's 3 in the morning. Just like deleting comments. Yeah, don't do that either. It just brings more attention. You might unintentionally delete criticism or whatever. It's bleak. It just comes off like you're freaking out or whatnot. Or sorry, maybe not freaking out. It looks like you're hiding something. And when you're hiding something, people attribute that to malice sometimes. So you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. She didn't mention that Slug was convincing her to delete it? Dude. Slug, if that's true. Bro. It's literally energy draining a lot. It is. It is. Oh, fuck me. I almost forgot to like raid into somebody. Let me... Who's live right now? Dude. You guys are just gonna see some kitties. That's all you guys are gonna do. Say hi to the kitties. Yeah. Anyways. have a good night, guys. Gilla's not going live, okay? And I'm not gonna wait for Gilla. I'm not waiting for Gilla. Gilla can fuck himself. Yeah. Thanks for the stream, Ace of Spaces. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure that my thoughts were out there. It's easier just to redirect people to a stream, right? And yep, that's just the best way to go about it, I feel like, because, yeah. Fuck me. Hopefully Chuuli learns and takes her break. That would probably be the best for her, personally. But yeah, you guys take care. See ya. Night-night.